Chunin exams begin. As Naruto and Sasuke entered the building where they'd start the exams, they noticed a gathering of people on the second floor. They both saw two kids guarding a door that seemed to be the entrance to the exam, despite the fact that it was supposed to be on the third floor. Naruto and Sasuke shared a look before activating their Sharingan and seeing that it was a genjutsu. Should we say something? Naruto asked Sasuke, who just shrugged. If they can't see through this, they probably shouldn't become Chunin anyways. Less competition. Sasuke told him, and they both just walked away and deactivated their Sharingan. The duo, though, didn't go unnoticed by the boy in the green jumpsuit that was supposedly being kicked on the ground. He quickly got up, his injuries seeming to disappear, and followed the two boys. As Naruto and Sasuke entered a large room that led to the third floor, the boy in the green jumpsuit showed up in front of them. He pointed at Sasuke, his teeth somehow glistening. "I challenge you, Sasuke Uchiha," he declared. Sasuke just stared at him. "Who are you?" he asked, obviously unimpressed. "I am Rock Lee. I wish to challenge you, the top of your class and the prodigy of the Uchiha. I will prove that me, the dead last of my year, can beat you through hard work," Rock Lee told him. Naruto, who was just watching the exchange, decided to butt in. "Hey! Why doesn't anyone challenge me? I'm an Uchiha too," he whined, and Lee stared at him. "You are an Uchiha? You were the dead last of your class as well, correct?" Lee asked. "Yeah, but not anymore," bushy brows. "I'm Sasuke's equal." Naruto activated his Sharingan as a show of proof. Rock Lee tried to look up at his own eyebrows. Bushy brows? Oh well. Lee turned his gaze back to Sasuke. "Fight me, Sasuke Uchiha," Rock Lee told him, and slipped into a fighting stance. Sasuke just stood there for another second before shrugging, activating his Sharingan and slipping into a fighting stance. He's even more of an idiot than Naruto. But that doesn't mean he's weak, Sasuke thought. "Let us begin," Lee declared, and charged at Sasuke, nearly too fast for Sasuke to react. "This guy's fast," Sasuke and Naruto both thought, and Naruto watched the match with his own Sharingan. Sasuke managed to dodge Lee's punch, but he was sent flying by a follow-up kick. Impressive, Sasuke thought, and he landed on the wall. Rock Lee was flying at him again, but he was able to predict it with his Sharingan. He quickly moved out of the way and threw a kunai where he knew Lee would land. When Lee landed on the wall where Sasuke was, he had to catch a kunai that would have landed in his back. Sasuke, expecting this, was quickly on him to turn the tables of the match. He landed a hit on Lee that sent him into the air, and landed another while he couldn't change his direction. These hits sent him crashing into another wall, but he quickly got up. "You are good, Sasuke Uchiha. I can see why you are known as a prodigy. However, I will prove that hard work beats natural talent," Lee told Sasuke, and began to unwrap the bandages covering his arms. It was brief, but Sasuke and Naruto could see how beaten up his hands were. However, before they could get a better look, a pinwheel flew out of nowhere and pinned the bandages to the wall behind Lee. When they turned around they saw a giant turtle. "Lee!" the turtle shouted, and Lee ran over to it. Naruto and Sasuke just stared at the turtle in disbelief, and Naruto walked over to where Sasuke landed. "You are a fool," the turtle berated Lee, who was on his hands and knees. "I am sorry, sir," Lee apologized to the turtle. "A shinobi should never reveal their secrets," the turtle told Lee. Naruto, his gaze unmoving from the weird scene in front of him, turned his head slightly in Sasuke's direction. "Is that a turtle?" he asked. "Of course it's a turtle, you idiot," Sasuke told him. "And he's apologizing to it?" Naruto asked. Sasuke sighed. Yes. Before Naruto could ask another question, a man popped out of the turtle. He was essentially identical to Lee, but he was older and had more defined features. However, they shared their hairstyle, clothes, and even the bushy eyebrows. The only real differences between them were size and clothes. The older Lee sent Lee flying with one punch. You fool! The older Lee shouted. I am sorry, Guy-sensei. Lee shouted back. Lee. Guy-sensei. Lee. Guy-sensei. Lee. Guy-sensei. The two clones were now crying to each other, and somehow the image of a sunset by the ocean appeared in front of them. Naruto and Sasuke, Sharingan active, tried to see through the weird sunset genjutsu but only succeeded in burning the image into their minds. The two clones went through a long conversation about youth, with Lee promising to do some weird workouts as punishment. Eventually, the sunset genjutsu faded and the older Lee noticed the two Sharingan wielders. Naruto and Sasuke just continued to stare, somehow finding it impossible to deactivate their Sharingan, when the older Lee smiled at them. Those eyes, you are Kakashi's students? The older Lee asked, and both the Uchiha nodded their heads. I am Might Guy, the blue beast of Konoha and your sensei's eternal rival. The older Lee, now revealed as Might Guy, told them. Naruto and Sasuke stared blankly for a few seconds until Naruto's face lit up. Oh. You're the person Kaka-sensei called an interesting character, he said you watch his feet when fighting him. Naruto stated. Guy's face lit up. Kakashi mentioned me, Did he mention that I'm actually stronger than him? Guy asked. Naruto shrugged. Think he said probably? I don't know. Naruto told him, and he and Sasuke finally calmed down enough to deactivate their Sharingan. Guy grinned. Yosh. The flames of youth burn brightly in Kakashi. Guy yelled. Naruto scratched the back of his head, unsure what that even meant. Yeah, well we gotta get going to the exams. Naruto said and turned to Sasuke with pleading eyes. Right, Sasuke? He asked. Sasuke nodded with more energy than he usually used. Yeah, let's go. Sasuke agreed, and they both quickly walked away before the weird green twins could go on another weird bonding session. Just outside the first exam area, Naruto and Sasuke were walking up to where the first exam was to be held, and they noticed their sensei waiting for them at the door. Kakashi looked up at them from his book with an eye smile. Hey Naruto, Sasuke. No Sakura? Kakashi asked, though he'd predicted this. Naruto nodded. Yeah, she didn't feel ready for it. Naruto told Kakashi, and handed him the entrance form. Sasuke followed suit, and Kakashi took both of the forms. Kakashi's eye turned serious, and he looked at the forms in his hand. Now normally, the two of you wouldn't be able to attend without a third member. I didn't tell the three of you this because I didn't want you two to pressure Sakura into coming. Kakashi told them, and Sasuke opened his mouth to object, but Kakashi held out a finger. However, special circumstances can allow for genin to enter solo or as duos. As it turns out, the council wants the two remaining Uchiha to take the exams. So, you two will be taking the exams as a duo. Kakashi informed the pair. Naruto grinned. They really included me in the last two Uchiha? He asked, causing Kakashi to give another eye smile. Of course they did, idiot. Sasuke told him, but he seemed to be smiling a bit at the edges of his mouth. Naruto prepared to object to the insult, but Kakashi stopped him. Sasuke. Isn't very smart to antagonize your one teammate, now is it? Kakashi joked, before turning serious again. However, I feel it's necessary to warn you that, as a team of two, you'll probably be targeted more by other teams. Sasuke's small smile turned into a smirk, and Naruto mirrored it like an Uchiha would. Well, bring it on. Naruto exclaimed. Kakashi gave another eye smile. So it'd be useless to warn you to be careful? Kakashi asked, and they both nodded. All right, good luck. Kakashi told them, before disappearing. Naruto and Sasuke stared at the door for a second, before giving each other a look. They gave each other a smirk, before opening the door and walking into the room. First exam entrance. When Naruto and Sasuke entered the room, they were shocked by how many people were taking the exam. More than that, they were shocked by how much older everyone else seemed to be. There were a few people around their age, but almost everyone else seemed to be older than them. Before they could better assess the others in the room, they heard a familiar high-pitched screech. Sasuke! Ino yelled, and rushed to jump and grab onto him. Sasuke, again, just dodged and she crashed into the ground behind him. She prepared to insult Sakura, out of habit, but was surprised when she couldn't spot her pink-haired rival. She stood back up and walked in front of the duo. Where's Sakura? Ino asked. Shikamaru, already guessing what happened, had walked up beside his teammate with Koji. He already had his assumptions, but was remaining quiet for confirmation. She's not taking the exam. It's just me and Naruto. Sasuke told them with his usual stoicism. This just confirmed Shikamaru's guess, but it surprised Ino and Koji. It's just the two of you. Asuma-sensei said the Chunin exams could only be taken in teams of 3, so how are you guys taking it? Koji asked, and reached into his bag of chips to eat more. Before Naruto or Sasuke could answer, Ino spoke up. It's because Sasuke is so awesome, he doesn't need a third teammate. I doubt he even needs Naruto, he could dash. Ino started. Sasuke, his annoyance steadily growing, cut her off. Me and Naruto are more than enough. Sakura decided she needed more training before the exams, so she decided to not take it. Sasuke explained. And you two were allowed to enter because you're the last two Uchiha. Shikamaru guessed, and Sasuke nodded. Ino scoffed. Should have known forward girl wasn't ready. She started, but stopped when Sasuke threatened her with an activated Sharingan. Sakura is being smart. It'd be idiotic to take this exam if you aren't sure that you can pass. People die in this, and uncertainty will get you killed. I'd rather be down one teammate for the duration of the exam than have my teammate killed because she wasn't ready. Sasuke told them, shocking Team 10. Before any of them could respond, they heard a familiar barking. They turned to the source of the barking, and saw 3 more familiar faces. One was mostly covered, one was bright red and staring at Naruto, and one had a grin similar to Naruto's, and he had a dog on his head. Hey Naruto, Sasuke. The one with the dog, Kiba, greeted. Naruto, who hadn't really had a chance to speak yet, grinned. Hey Kiba, Shino, and Hinata. You guys are here too, huh? Guess Sakura's the only one left out. Naruto told them, and received the same looks of confusion from Team 8 as Sasuke got from Team 10. Sakura isn't taking the exam? Kiba asked, and Naruto nodded. I thought that YUH had to be in T teams of TH3. Hinata stammered, which Naruto wrote off as just a personality quirk. Well, I assume that, as the last two Shino started, but no one noticed. Well, Kaka-sensei said the council wanted us to take the exam. He also tortured trained us pretty much non-stop for 3 weeks straight, so I think the two of us will be fine, you know. Naruto told them. Shikamaru nodded. Yeah, that's logical. If both of you really have matured Sharingan, you're definitely above Genin level. Especially if you were trained by Kakashi. Shikamaru reasoned. Kiba laughed. Doesn't matter if he has the Sharingan and was trained by Kakashi, Naruto still won't beat me. He's just the dead last. Kiba exclaimed, irritating Sasuke and upsetting Naruto. Before Naruto could object himself, Sasuke spoke up. Naruto may have been the dead last, but he certainly isn't anymore. Since graduation, he has become my equal. I'm sure he could beat you without his Sharingan, Kiba. Sasuke stated. He was very proud of his clan, and that pride now included Naruto. Naruto grinned at the praise. Yeah, dog breath. What he said. Naruto agreed. The rest of the rookie genin were shocked by Sasuke's blatant praise of Naruto. They knew they were clanmates now, but Sasuke never praised anyone without reason. Before anyone could speak up, an older boy with silver hair and glasses walked up to them. Ah, you should stop drawing attention to yourselves. You don't want to be targeted by the other teams. The older boy warned them. The rookie genin looked around, and the older boy was telling the truth. The other teams were staring at them, and the attention was strongly focused on the two young Uchiha. Who are you? Naruto asked, ignoring the attention of the other teams. Sasuke was ignoring them too. The two Uchiha expected to be targeted. They were more curious about the boy who had tried to warn them. The older boy gave them a friendly smile. My name is Kabuto. This is my 7th time taking the exam. The older boy, Kabuto, introduced himself. 7? Wow, you must suck. Naruto bluntly told him, making Kabuto chuckle. I think you'll find these exams harder than you expect. Rookie genin rarely pass on their first time. Kabuto told them. Sasuke shrugged. Rookie genin aren't usually Uchiha with matured Sharingan. Sasuke responded, and Naruto nodded his head. Kabuto began to reach into his pockets and pulled out a deck of cards. Well, even Uchiha could benefit from information. How about I help you out? Kabuto asked. Sasuke ended up asking about Gaara, Rock Lee, and Niji Hyuga. A team from an unknown village attacked Kabuto, and showed off some weird attack. Since Naruto and Sasuke didn't have their Sharingan active, they couldn't tell what the attack was. Then, the instructor for the first exam entered the room and ushered them all to the room where the exam would be taking place. First exam. When Naruto and Sasuke entered the room for the first exam, they were shocked. They were both expecting some sort of challenge, but it seemed they'd only be taking a test. Sasuke was calm, but Naruto looked towards his teammate with panic in his eyes. Sasuke, noticing Naruto's panic, leaned closer to him and whispered, if you don't understand the questions, just copy someone else with your Sharingan. Naruto's panic subsided. Oh, yeah. Honestly, sometimes I forget I can do that. Naruto admitted, and Sasuke sighed. Uchiha or not, Naruto was Naruto. Before they could talk anymore, the exam proctors ushered the genin to their seats to take the test. Naruto and Sasuke were, obviously, separated. They obviously didn't want teammates to help each other, not directly at least. Naruto was sitting by Hinata of all people, and Sasuke wasn't sitting by anyone notable. With a quick glance they could spot the other rookie genin, but the others weren't in direct line of sight that would allow either of them to copy their papers using the Sharingan. The only one in Naruto's direct view was Hinata, and he didn't feel good about cheating off of her. The instructor, Ibiki, went over the rules. Sasuke could tell something was up, but Naruto took them at face value. When Naruto flipped his paper over and looked at the questions, he knew he was screwed. Then, he remembered what Sasuke told him. Use my Sharingan. Guess Sasuke was right. Let me just look around for someone who seems to know what they're doing. Naruto thought, and spotted someone quickly filling out their paper. He activated his Sharingan and began to copy their movements. Before he knew it, the first 9 questions were all filled out. Sasuke had done the same, and now the duo just had to wait for the 10th and final question. Ibiki watched all of the genin discreetly cheating to get the answers. He was a special jonin, so, obviously, he could spot all of the cheating methods being used. He'd given the proctors under his command specific instructions on what to write down, and what to let slide. He saw a sand genin forming an eye of sand, which was interesting. He saw another sand genin cheat using a puppet disguised as an instructor, certainly a creative idea. He saw the Hyuga kids using their byakugan, a convenient and useful aspect of their dojutsu. He saw a lot of expected and unexpected cheating methods, but two boys stuck out specifically. It wasn't unexpected, but it was a sight to see anyways. Two kids, polar opposites based off of appearance, using the Sharingan to perfectly copy the tests of two planted Chunin with the answers. That wouldn't have been very uncommon years ago, but it was a wonder now. The Uchiha massacre had wiped out all but, apparently, 3 Uchiha. Itachi Uchiha, the murderer of the clan. Sasuke Uchiha, Itachi's younger brother. Naruto Uzumaki Uchiha, who wasn't even known as an Uchiha until very recently. And Ibiki had Naruto and Sasuke sitting in the room, taking his exam, and taking the exam as a duo. Ino Yamanaka was stressed. Right now, she was really wishing her rival was here. Sakura Harano may have had little in terms of practical skill, but for a written test she would be perfect to cheat off of. However, Sakura wasn't here. The only other person she knew that was guaranteed to have the answers was Shikamaru Nara, but he wasn't in her line of sight. She knew Sasuke, the genius he was, probably had the answers too, but she wouldn't dare to invade her beloved Sasuke's mind. So, she was scanning the room for someone who appeared to have the answers. She was shocked to see that Naruto, the dead last of their class, appeared to have a fully filled out exam sheet. Deciding that it wouldn't hurt to try, she performed her mind transfer jutsu on him. Naruto was just sitting and waiting for the 10th question when he felt something pull on his mind. If he didn't have a literal demon in his gut, he probably would have written it off as nothing. However, he couldn't afford to ignore the feeling due to his status as a Jinchuriki. He activated his Sharingan and met the pull he was feeling, and was relieved to find out it wasn't a demon invading his mind. It was just Ino. Ino was shocked when her mind didn't immediately invade Naruto's. Her technique wasn't very developed, but it would still take mental fortitude to hold her off. In the middle of a battle, adrenaline would probably allow more people to escape her control. But, this wasn't a battle. Yet somehow Naruto, the dead last, fought off her control. More than that, he turned around and met her gaze. She saw his eyes turn red, and the spinning tomo mesmerized her. Then, her view of the exam room was replaced by a black area with just her and Naruto. Still shocked by everything that had just happened, she jumped when she heard Naruto's voice. "Hey, Ino." He greeted, but she couldn't find the words to respond. Luckily, he filled the silence for her. It's not very nice to invade someone's mind in the middle of the exams, you know. Trying to find the words for the questions she now had, Ino was only able to find one word. "How?" she asked, and Naruto smiled. "Kaka-sensei really stressed how to resist control when training me. Guess he wanted me to be prepared or whatever. I dunno, I wasn't really listening." Naruto lied. Kakashi had trained him, that much was true, but he knew why. As a Jinchuriki, it was a skill he desperately needed to have. Both to avoid the Kyuubi's control, and to avoid anyone who wanted to control the Kyuubi. Ino nodded. "Yeah, I guess that makes sense," she told him, and he grinned. "Oh well. You wanted the answers, right? Get them from that guy to the left in front of me. That's how I got mine," Naruto told Ino with a grin. Ino just nodded, and suddenly she was back in her body. After a few minutes of collecting her thoughts, re-evaluating a few of her opinions on Naruto, and just being generally shocked, she followed his advice. Eventually, the time came for the 10th question. Ibiki explained what would happen if they were to fail it, which rattled the genin. Many left, but Naruto and Sasuke stayed firm in their seats. If they couldn't face a simple question like this, how could they ever face the killer of their clan? Then, Ibiki explained that it was one big bluff. The rest of the questions barely mattered, and there was no 10th. Not really, anyways. The option to take the 10th question was the 10th question. He explained the purpose of the exam, and revealed his scars to the genin. As he was putting his full-headed forehead protector back on, smoke entered the room. When the smoke cleared, there was a very attractive woman standing in front of a large banner. She talked to Ibiki for a few seconds, before introducing herself as the proctor for the next exam, Anko Mitarashi. She told the gathered genin to follow her, and left the way she came in, through the window. Outside the forest of death, Naruto and Sasuke, along with all of the other past genin, were standing outside of a massive forest. Anko explained the exam to them, and gave them all forms to sign in case of their death. Naruto and Sasuke, without hesitation, signed the forms. Again, how could they face Itachi if they were scared of some forest? They handed in their forms, and received a heaven scroll in return. Sasuke stored the scroll in a storage seal he'd copied with his Sharingan, something Kakashi suggested, and headed off to the gate where they'd start the second exam. Forest of Death, second exam. The gate opened for them to start the exam, and both Uchiha immediately activated their Sharingan. By this point, both could keep it active as long as necessary, and regain the spent chakra while resting. Naruto, of course, didn't even feel the strain to begin with. For Sasuke, Kakashi's training had included increasing the time he could keep his Sharingan active. It was insanely uncomfortable at first, but now he could keep it active all day if he really wanted to. They dashed into the forest and scanned the area for any sign of another team. Their Sharingan let them pick up the smallest details like imprints on the ground, or even faint traces of chakra. It wasn't as good for tracking as the Hyuga's byakugan, but it was still good. Any time they saw a trace of an imprint, they'd rush towards it. They wanted to finish the exam as quickly as possible. They weren't afraid of the forest, but they wanted to show off their skill. Eventually, they came across another team of Konoha genin. It wasn't anyone they knew, but them being from Konoha meant the duo would go somewhat easy on them. At the very least, they wouldn't ambush their fellow Konoha shinobi. Naruto and Sasuke appeared in front of the trio of genin, who tensed up at the sight of other shinobi. One of them, instinctively, covered a pouch on his left thigh, which didn't go unnoticed by the duo's Sharingan. At first the trio was calmed by the fact that it was only two enemies, but then they noticed the eyes. The Sharingan. One of them muttered. Naruto grinned. "Hey, do you happen to have the Earth Scroll?" Naruto asked, his casual grin failing to put them at ease. The trio snapped out of their shock. "You're outnumbered." Sharingan or not - one of them started, but Sasuke was already on them. Sasuke and the other genin engaged in a quick taijutsu battle, but Sasuke proved to be the superior fighter. With his Sharingan, he was able to easily slip into his opponent's guard and break their defense. He sent a palm to his opponent's chest, and sent them flying into a tree. He turned around to see Naruto fighting the other two shinobi, and winning despite being outnumbered. Naruto, after watching Sasuke engage one of the genin, attacked the remaining two. He only had to keep them from interfering with Sasuke's fight, but he could tell both he and Sasuke outmatched them. They were good for genin, but Naruto and Sasuke were better. With their 3 Tomo Sharingan and training from Kakashi, there were few genin on their level. Sasuke's opponent got back up, and the group of 3 genin regrouped. They started to run through hand signs, and both Naruto and Sasuke recognized them with smirks. The duo began to copy the hand signs perfectly, and 5 massive fireballs filled the clearing. Naruto and Sasuke's fireballs dwarfed their opponents individually, but it was 3 versus 2. The 5 fireballs collided, and the trio assumed they won. They assumed wrong. Naruto and Sasuke, used to the burning heat of the fireball jutsu, rushed through as soon as the fireballs had dissipated. Before their opponents could react, they knocked out the two who weren't carrying the scrolls. Then, it was just Naruto, Sasuke, and the one carrying the scroll. Did you really just try to use fireball jutsu on two Uchiha? That is our clan's signature jutsu, you know. Naruto told them, and knocked out the remaining member. Naruto reached into the genin's pocket and grinned when he saw what the scroll was. Earth Scroll perfect. Sasuke said as Naruto handed him the Earth Scroll. He put it in the seal with the other scroll. Do you want to hurry to the tower? Or do you want to have some fun and find more scrolls? Sasuke asked Naruto. Naruto stayed quiet for a second, and gave Sasuke a smirk. Let's have some fun, he said, and Sasuke returned the smirk before they both disappeared back into the forest. After a few more minutes, they came across Team 10. They were resting and Shikamaru seemed to be forming a plan, with Ino and Koji listening intently. Naruto and Sasuke decided to jump down and make their presence known. Yo! Sasuke greeted, a greeting he'd picked up from Kakashi. Shikamaru, Ino, and Koji all tensed up when Naruto and Sasuke appeared, but calmed down a bit when they saw who it was. Are you here for a scroll? Shikamaru asked, though he knew they'd already be down if Naruto and Sasuke wanted the scroll. Naruto shook his head. Nah, we already have both of ours. We were just looking around to have some fun and saw the three of you. Need any help? Naruto asked. Really? Already? Koji asked, and Sasuke nodded. Wow, that's amazing. Koji told them between chips. Naruto grinned. Well, we are the last two Uchiha. Of course we're done. Naruto exclaimed, and Sasuke smirked. Naruto's pride in their clan was growing. Ah, well, like I asked before. Need any help? Since we were just planning to have some fun by fighting the other teams, we may as well help you get your scrolls. Naruto offered. Ino, of course, was ecstatic about the idea of working with Sasuke. Yeah. I call dibs on working with Sasuke. She squealed, and everyone else rolled their eyes. Sasuke shook his head. No, I'm not working with you, Ino. Sasuke told her, and turned to Shikamaru. Do you want our help? If not, me and Naruto are just going to have fun and take out a few more teams. Shikamaru thought about it for a few seconds before making his decision. How about a bit of both? You and Naruto go have fun and we can meet back here in 3 hours. If you have an extra of a scroll we need, we'll take it. If not, no harm done. Shikamaru suggested, and Sasuke nodded. Sasuke turned to his teammate. That fine with you? Sasuke asked Naruto. Naruto nodded. Yeah. That sounds perfect, we get to have some fun and help our friends. Naruto exclaimed, and gave the other team a grin. Sasuke turned back to Team 10, specifically Shikamaru. Alright, we'll meet back here in 3 hours. If we have an extra scroll that you need, we'll give it to you. Sasuke told him, and quickly disappeared back into the trees. Naruto just stood there and scratched the back of his head. Oh, yeah. He can be kinda dramatic sometimes. He really likes dramatic exits and sounding ominous. Think it's an Uchiha thing? Dunno, don't care, Uchiha are weird. Anyways, I'm gonna follow him. CYA in a few hours. Naruto told them, and quickly disappeared after Sasuke. Uchiha thing? Koji asked. Isn't he an Uchiha too? Shikamaru just nodded and muttered troublesome. 30 minutes later. Naruto and Sasuke were hopping through the trees, searching for another team. Despite having the Sharingan, neither of them were actual sensor types, so they had to rely on visual and audio cues to find other teams. Eventually they heard the sound of a bear growling, and they rushed in the direction to see if there was another team the bear was growling at. They came across a small clearing, and saw a large bear that was about to attack a redhead girl. Without even thinking about it, the duo quickly rushed in to save her. Sasuke attacked the bear and Naruto grabbed the girl, setting her down away from the bear. The redhead looked up at Naruto, who gave her a grin. "Who are you?" the girl asked Naruto, as Sasuke landed beside them. "I'm Naruto Uzumaki Uchiha, and he's Sasuke Uchiha." Naruto introduced himself and Sasuke, and the girl's eyes widened. "Uzumaki?" she echoed, and Naruto nodded. "I'm Karen Uzumaki," she told them, and Naruto stared at her with wide eyes. "You're an Uzumaki? Well, you do have the same hair as my mom did, so I guess it makes sense. Am I the only Uzumaki without red hair?" Naruto asked. Karen nodded her head. "Yeah, I think so. I haven't really met any outside of my mom, but she had red hair like me," Karen told Naruto. Naruto grinned even more. "Wow, I'm from two clans and look like neither of them. My dad's genes were really strong, you know," Naruto exclaimed. "Ah, well. Do you need any help? Where's your team?" Sasuke sighed. "Naruto, we can't just help everyone we find in the forest," Sasuke told him, and Naruto's face fell. "But she's from the same clan as me. We should help her, you know," Naruto whined. "Ah, well. I can find my way back to somewhere safe on my own. Don't worry about me, okay? You guys should find your scroll," Karen told them. Naruto gave her another smile. "Nah, don't worry about that. We already got both of ours." Karen's eyes widened again. "Really? It hasn't even been a day. Why are you guys still running around the forest?" Karen asked. "We were just gonna have some fun, you know. Take out some more random teams. We didn't wanna head back too soon," Naruto said. Karen's eyes narrowed. "You find that fun? Why'd you help me?" she asked. Naruto shrugged. "You needed help. We don't want to kill anyone, just have a little fun," Naruto told her, and turned to Sasuke. "Could we take her with us? She's the only other Uzumaki I've met, I wouldn't want her to die out here." Sasuke frowned but nodded his head. "Yeah, I guess. I'd probably do the same if there was another Uchiha." Sasuke looked back at Karen. "How fast can you move? We'll help you to the tower, just don't slow us down too much." Karen nodded. "Okay, I can move pretty fast. I can't really fight, though," she told them. Naruto gave her another smile. "It's alright. We've still got, what, 4 days. I doubt anything bad will happen, you know," Naruto told them. "You totally just jinxed us, idiot," Sasuke muttered, and Naruto gave him a look of confusion. "Never mind. Let's just go. Karen, do you have any special abilities?" he asked, turning to Karen. "Oh, yeah. I'm a sensor, and I can heal people," Karen told them, and their eyes widened. "Healing? I heal really fast too, is that an Uzumaki thing?" Naruto asked. Karen shrugged. "Maybe. My mom could, and I can." "Can you heal others by letting them bite you?" Karen asked. "Bite me? Huh. No, I can only heal myself. Far as I know, at least," Naruto told her, and she looked confused. Before the two Uzumaki could continue wasting time, Sasuke cleared his throat to get their attention. "Let's go. Karen, if you're a sensor then just let us know if anyone is getting close," Sasuke told her, and headed back to the trees. Naruto and Karen gave each other a look, and followed him into the trees. An hour later, Naruto, Sasuke, and Karen were all traveling through the trees. Naruto and Sasuke could be going faster, but Naruto didn't want to leave Karen behind. So far, they'd ran into a few people, but no one Naruto or Sasuke had any trouble with. Thanks to Karen, no one was able to catch them by surprise. It was a pretty good setup, but suddenly they heard Karen stumble and stop. When Naruto and Sasuke stopped and turned around, they could see Karen was obviously terrified. Naruto jumped over to where she stopped, with Sasuke close behind. "What's wrong?" Naruto asked, concern in his voice. Karen was only able to snap herself out of it thanks to Naruto's proximity. His warm presence was almost enough to forget whatever it was she was feeling. He was like the sun, but this other presence was evil. There was no other way to describe it, it was just blatantly evil. "Something's coming," she muttered, and turned to the direction she felt it coming from. "It's evil. And it has a lot of chakra," Karen told them, concerning Naruto and Sasuke even more. Naruto and Sasuke both focused their Sharingan in the direction she turned to, straining their eyes to see any hint of movement. Then, they saw the massive amount of sinister chakra coming their way. "Hide!" Naruto shouted at Karen, and she didn't think twice. She'd seen them fight, and she knew she'd only get in the way. She quickly left them to hide in the nearby forest. Thanks to her sensory skills, she wouldn't be found unless she wanted to. Naruto and Sasuke braced for the coming fight. Despite all their training with Kakashi, they could already tell they were outmatched. The chakra presence was massive. It was purple, sinister, and massive. The chakra presence arrived and they recognized the source of it. It was a genin from Kusagakure, but they could tell it wasn't a normal genin. "Kukyaku, where'd the redhead go?" the Kusa asked, and the duo tensed up. "Ah, no matter. I didn't come here for an Uzumaki. Do you want our scroll?" Sasuke asked, and his hand reached for the seal. He was arrogant, but he wasn't completely stupid. He knew the only way to leave this alive would be to give the Kusa what they wanted. The Kusa began to laugh an awful laugh. "Your scroll? No. I want something much better than a silly scroll," they told Naruto and Sasuke, before suddenly punching both. Naruto and Sasuke thought they were prepared, but this genin just hit harder than Kakashi. They were barely able to spin around in the air, landing on the tree with their feet. Before they knew it, the Kusa was on them again. They could see the attacks with their Sharingan, but they couldn't react. The Kusa ninjas sent them crashing against the same tree, and landed above them. "Kukyaku, I really expected more from the last two Uchiha," the Kusa insulted them. "With that level of skill, you'll never face Itaka. Weeks ago, just the mention of Itaka would have set Sasuke off." However, thanks to both Kakashi and Naruto, Sasuke was able to keep himself in check. He and Naruto shared a quick look, and rushed up at the ninja. Naruto put his hands in a single seal, using his best jutsu that had nothing to do with his Sharingan. "Shadow clone jutsu," he muttered. Kakashi had warned him against shouting his jutsu names, though it wouldn't matter in most situations Naruto found himself in. 50 Naruto clones appeared around him, and Sasuke transformed into another Naruto. All 52 Narutos, Sasuke and the original included, ran at the Kusa with Sharingan blazing. The Kusa only bothered to raise an eyebrow as all 52 Narutos started to form hand signs. 25 were performing one set of hand signs, 25 more were performing another set, while the remaining reached into their pouches and pulled something out. "Fire style, fireball jutsu," the first set roared, ignoring Kakashi's warning this time. "Wind style, great breakthrough," the second set roared, and the two types of jutsu combined. While the fire and wind style jutsu flew at the Kusa the remaining two Narutos rushed at them. Hiding behind the massive attack, they waited for the genin to try and dodge, prepared to attack them when they tried. To their shock, however, the genin didn't even bother to dodge. The massive attack hit them dead on, and the duo approached as soon as the smoke cleared. The genin was indented into the tree, their skin literally melting off. When they got a closer look, they only became more shocked. What the? The Naruto on the right muttered, and the other 50 Narutos dispelled. The Naruto on the left transformed back into Sasuke, and the duo could only stare in shock. Behind the melting skin, there was another face. It was paper white, with purple surrounding the snake-like eyes. Kukyaku. The snake-like man laughed again, and stared directly at Naruto. That was quite the attack. Ingenious use of shadow clones, and it must have taken a lot of chakra. It's a shame your inhabitant makes your body useless for my needs. The snake-like man hissed at Naruto, and turned to Sasuke. You, however, I'll have to see more of you. Before they could react, snakes shot out from the man's sleeves, instantly wrapping themselves around Naruto, pinning him to the tree. The snake-like man got out of the indent in the tree, and Sasuke jumped back. Naruto, unable to budge against the snakes pinning him to the tree, could only watch as the snake-like man lunged at Sasuke. His Sharingan was still active, and he could clearly see every hit his teammate took. Sasuke was trying to dodge and fight back, but the man fought the same way he looked, like a snake. Sasuke was clearly outmatched, and now he was fighting alone. The snake-like man would get in the way any time Sasuke tried to reach Naruto. Every hit felt like 10 of Kakashi's punches, and he was quickly wearing down. He could clearly see all of the attacks with his Sharingan, but that was useless if he couldn't react. Suddenly, the snake-like man stopped and started laughing the same ugly laugh. Kukyaku, I never even introduced myself, did I? My name is Orochimaru. The snake-like man, Orochimaru, told them. Sasuke recognized the name, but it took him a few seconds to place it. As soon as he recognized it, he realized how truly outmatched he was. Orochimaru of the legendary Sunin, one of the strongest shinobi the village had ever produced. And here he was, fighting genin. He was knocked out of his thoughts by a confused Naruto. Who? Naruto shouted at them, completely oblivious of the name he'd just heard. You don't even know who I am? I'm offended, Naruto. How do you think your father would feel if he knew you couldn't even recognize a Sunin? Orochimaru mocked. You knew my dad? Naruto asked, shocked. He still didn't know whatever the hell a Sunin was, but any mention of his father was sure to catch his attention. Sasuke was still shocked still, and Orochimaru just laughed again. How could I not? The man stole the title of Yondaime Hokage from me. Orochimaru hissed, and Naruto's eyes went wide. This guy was considered for Hokage. Shit, why's he fighting us? We're no match for someone like this. Naruto thought, the fear sinking in. Naruto began to ask, but Orochimaru just laughed even more. What do I want from you? Think, what do you have that's valuable? And I can assure you that I'm not here for the fox in your gut, so what else does that leave? Orochimaru asked. Sasuke, finally snapping out of his shock a little, widened his eyes in realization. The Sharingan, he muttered. Orochimaru smiled evilly. Kukyaku, you're definitely the smarter of the two, aren't you? Orochimaru said, and went back to attacking Sasuke. Sasuke tried to fight back but, just like before, he was far outmatched. He was doing everything he could to just react to the Sunin's attacks, he knew that fighting back would be impossible. Worst of all, he could tell Orochimaru was just mocking him. Deciding that taijutsu was worthless in a situation like this, Sasuke jumped back. He quickly ran through hand seals. Lightning style, lightning ball jutsu. Sasuke muttered, and 20 balls of lightning came into existence around him. He sent them all at Orochimaru, and they all hit their mark. Did that? Sasuke asked himself, but the Orochimaru just melted into mud. Where dash? Sasuke tried to turn around, but he was hit in the back and sent flying. Lightning style, eh? Orochimaru asked, walking over to where Sasuke landed. By now, he hurt all over. He tried to get up, he'd landed closer to Naruto, but it was useless. It was all he could do to turn to Orochimaru, who walked past him. Ah, well. I've had my fun. Orochimaru said, and walked to Naruto. What dash? Naruto asked, and Orochimaru lifted his hand to Naruto's Sharingan. Sasuke's eyes widened as he realized what Orochimaru planned to do. Orochimaru started to dig into Naruto's eye, and blood started to pour from it. Naruto was screaming, but Sasuke couldn't hear anything. As Sasuke watched his teammate, his true brother, scream in pain, he couldn't help but think about that night. The sight of Itachi standing over his dead parents raced through his mind, the helplessness from then repeating itself now. All that training. All of the new power I've gained, and I still can't protect my family. That snake bastard is going to steal Naruto's eyes. And what can I do? Sasuke asked himself, and could only watch in horror as Orochimaru delicately pulled the eye out of Naruto's eye socket. Naruto's screaming had increased tenfold, and Orochimaru pulled out a jar. Kukyaku. Orochimaru laughed at the screams of pain, and finished pulling the eye out. He dropped it into the jar full of liquid, and the sickening plop sound was the only sound echoing through Sasuke's head. It was quiet, but the sound was deafening to Sasuke. He stared in horror at Naruto, blood pouring from his empty eye socket. Then, he looked at the Sharingan eye floating in the liquid. As Orochimaru reached for Naruto's other eye, still laughing, Sasuke snapped. The Tsukuyomi attack showed him that night raced through his mind, overlaid on the sight of when Orochimaru just pulled out Naruto's left eye. It was awful, and he couldn't stand to watch his brother suffer anymore. Unknown to him, something changed in his eyes at that moment. The sense of helplessness, the sense of rage, and, most of all, the overwhelming urge to protect Naruto by burning away Orochimaru raced through his mind. His eyes burned, and he felt blood trickle down his face. He stared down Orochimaru, a glare that could literally kill, and Orochimaru's arm went up in black flames. Somehow, Sasuke managed to find the energy to get up. The black flames were covering Orochimaru's arm, and forced him to drop the jar. Orochimaru's face became one of genuine shock as Sasuke rushed past him and grabbed the jar. Orochimaru stumbled back, the black flames spreading across his arm. He tried to douse himself with a water-style jutsu, but it didn't work. He tried to move the fire onto another surface, but it stuck to him. He glanced at Sasuke one more time, and he noticed something. Sasuke's eyes had changed. He didn't know what kind of Sharingan that was, but it radiated power. The boy seems to have done something to me. This fire won't go out. I'll have to take my leave for now. But I'll definitely return for those Sharingan. Orochimaru thought to himself, and quickly detached the arm covered in the black flames. You seem to have saved yourself this time. Sasuke. Orochimaru told Sasuke, who was standing shakily on his feet, before disappearing back into the forest. Sasuke stared at the jar in his hand, and stared at Naruto. The snakes had disappeared, but Naruto had already passed out from the pain. Sasuke could barely stand up himself, and fell to his knees. Then, Karen showed back up. She was sure the evil presence had left, and ran over to Naruto and Sasuke. She was expecting it to be bad, but not this bad. Naruto was passed out on the ground, missing an eye. Sasuke was on his knees, staring at the eye in the jar he was holding. Sasuke was crying blood, literally, and he gave Karen a pleading look as soon as he noticed her. Normally, Sasuke wouldn't hand a Sharingan to someone he barely knew, but he was desperate. He held out the jar to Karen, begging her with his eyes. Please. Help Naruto. You said you can heal. Right? Sasuke asked. Karen nodded, and rushed over to grab the jar. As soon as he felt it leave his hand, he fell fully to the ground. The strain of whatever he just did finally getting to him. The last thing he saw was Karen rushing over to Naruto's unconscious form, and opening his empty eye socket. Then, his world went black. The forest of death. As Naruto woke up, the first thing he noticed was pain in his left eye. It burned and he could feel the dried blood that was leaking from it before. At first he couldn't remember what the cause of the pain was, then he remembered the events from the last time he was conscious. Naruto reached up to touch his eye and he noticed it was covered by his forehead protector, in a way similar to their sensei. Naruto tried to move the forehead protector, but a hand stopped him. He looked at the source of the hand with his uncovered eye and saw Karen. "Don't remove that yet, your eye is still healing." Karen warned him, and Naruto dropped his hand. Naruto sat up, the rest of his body felt fine. The pain was concentrated in his eye, and even that was a lot less than before he passed out. He looked around and he spotted Sasuke laying against a tree, dried blood under his left eye. Naruto quickly turned to Karen. "Sasuke's eye?" he asked. Karen shook her head. "He's fine. It seems like his eye was just under a lot of strain and bled, but he's fine," Karen told Naruto, who sighed in relief, causing Karen to give him a look of confusion. "Aren't you going to ask about your eye?" Naruto shook his head. "No, I just wanted to be sure Sasuke was fine, you know. Plus, I can feel my eye fine. It hurts a bunch, but I can move it under my forehead protector," Naruto told her, and Karen just responded by widening her eyes in surprise. "What?" Naruto asked. "Your eye was completely ripped out. It's a miracle I could even put it back in, but you say you can already move it under forehead protector?" Karen asked. Naruto nodded his head. "Yeah, I've always been a fast healer, thank you for helping me though." "How long has it been?" Naruto asked, climbing to his feet. "Like 40-something minutes, I'm not sure," Karen told him. Naruto grinned. "So we've still got plenty of time to pass." "Wait, 40 minutes. Naruto trailed off, confusing Karen. "Oh, we've gotta meet up with Team 10 soon." "Team 10? Karen echoed. Naruto nodded. "Yeah, we ran into them before we found you." "Before we ran into that Orochimaru guy? What happened to him, anyways?" "I remember him. You know, and then I blacked out." "Did you stop him somehow?" Naruto asked. Karen shook her head and pointed at Sasuke. "I think he did something. His eyes looked weird and radiated some really strong chakra, which hit the snake guy. It was some kind of fire, and it made him leave." Karen explained. "Weird eyes? How so? Not just the normal Sharingan, right?" Karen nodded. "Yeah, I'm not sure how to explain it. I just know it was different and radiated strong chakra." Naruto's eyes widened in realization. "The mangyeko? It's gotta be that, right? If the eyes are as strong as he said, it'd explain why Orochimaru left." Naruto thought and walked over to Sasuke. Sasuke opened his aching eyes to see Naruto in his face, dried blood under the forehead protector covering his eye. Sasuke was confused at first. Was Naruto copying Kakashi somehow? Then he remembered the events from before he passed out. Sasuke wanted to freak out, to shout, but he still felt weak. "Your eye?" was the only thing Sasuke managed to ask. Naruto smiled at him. "It's fine, thanks to you and Karen," Naruto told him, and Sasuke signed in relief. "Though, we need to meet up with Team 10 soon. We're not that far, right?" Sasuke looked at him in confusion. "You realize we're lucky to be alive, right?" You really want to meet up with them? Why not just rush back to the tower? Sasuke asked. Naruto shrugged. I'd feel bad. We said we'd meet them, so it'd be sucky not to, you know. I think they'd understand if we told them why we couldn't make it. Sasuke deadpanned. You just don't want to see Ino because you think she's annoying. Sasuke nodded. Exactly. She's such a fangirl. Plus I'm way too exhausted to move, and you're probably exhausted t. Sasuke was cut off by Naruto picking him up and putting Sasuke on his back. Come on, Karen. I'll lead you there. Naruto told Karen and quickly rushed to the trees. He stumbled a bit thanks to his lack of depth perception, but Kakashi gave them a small amount of training with one eye. Karen, after knocking herself out of her shock at Naruto already being able to carry Sasuke, followed him into the trees. 30 minutes later, Naruto, Sasuke, and Karen all arrived in the clearing where Naruto and Sasuke previously met Team 10. Sasuke was now well enough to jump alongside them, but they still couldn't move very quickly. They were a little bit late, so Team 10 was already there waiting for them. Like before, Team 10 tensed up when Naruto and Sasuke entered the clearing. Karen appeared behind them, but Team 10's attention was more drawn to Naruto and Sasuke. Their eyes, specifically. Hey, Shikamaru, Koji, and Ino. Sorry we're a bit late, we ran into some trouble. Naruto told them with a smile. That's an understatement. Sasuke muttered. Naruto shrugged. Anyways, this is Karen Uzumaki. Apparently she's from the same clan as me. Naruto introduced her, and stepped aside so they could see her. Shikamaru just gave her a small wave and continued to stare at Naruto. Naruto, what's wrong with your eye? Oh, yeah. This snake bastard, think he said his name was Orochimaru, ripped it out and tried to take it. Sasuke was able to get it back and Karen put it back in. Naruto casually explained, shocking them even more. Orochimaru? Of the Sunin? Shikamaru asked, getting a nod from Sasuke. And you stopped him? How? I'm not really sure. Sasuke lied. They could guess it was the mangyeko Sharingan, but that was a secret of the Uchiha. We got lucky, but we should probably head to the tower as quickly as possible. Well, are your eyes okay? Koji asked, looking at the blood coming from both of the Uchiha's left eyes. Naruto nodded. Yeah, mine stings a bunch but I'm fine. I think I'll just have to avoid using that Sharingan for a bit. Sasuke's eyes were just strained, so he's fine. Naruto explained. Strained? Ino asked, trying to look at Sasuke's eye. Sasuke waved off the concern. It's just a Sharingan thing, don't worry about it. He half lied. It was a Sharingan thing, but it wasn't a normal one. Shikamaru looked unusually tense. If it really was Orochimaru, we need to get going. We already got the scroll we need, so Shikamaru was cut off by 3 new genin entering the clearing. Naruto, Sasuke, and Karen all turned to the new genin, and Team 10 was already facing in that direction. Naruto and Sasuke, instinctively, tried to activate their Sharingan but were met with searing pain from their left eyes. Shit! Naruto swore, deactivating his Sharingan and grabbing his covered eye. Sasuke felt a lot less pain than Naruto did, as his left eye was just strained from the mangyeko, so he managed to keep his active. Sasuke, his Sharingan unmoving from their opponents, whispered to Naruto. Try to activate it in just your right eye. It wouldn't be very useful to keep it active under that forehead protector anyways. Naruto nodded and the Sharingan in his right eye activated. What about your, you know? Naruto whispered back. Sasuke shook his head. I don't think I can use it again this soon, and I think trying would just incapacitate me. The 3 other genin approached them, causing Naruto and Sasuke to grab Karen and jump back to where Team 10 was. Sasuke spared a glance to Shikamaru, who he could tell was in thought. Shikamaru, do you have a plan? Me and Naruto, admittedly, aren't at top form right now. We don't know how strong these three are, so I wouldn't want to rush in blindly. Before Shikamaru could respond, one of the opposing genin spoke up. Naruto and Sasuke Uchiha. We're here to kill you, fight us alone and we'll let your friends live. The one covered in bandages announced. I don't want to get into an unnecessary fight. We both have our scrolls, so we should just distract them and make a break for it. Shikamaru whispered, receiving a nod from everyone. I've got just the jutsu for that. Naruto whispered and held up a single seal. Multi-shadow clone jutsu. Naruto shouted, and 100 one-eyed Narutos appeared from a cloud of smoke. What the? The opposing genin questioned, failing to notice the real Naruto disappear with his allies. Where's the real one? The sound genin tore through the Naruto clones with unpredictable attacks, but they were too late. Shit! The bandaged one shouted as the rest of the clones dispelled themselves, revealing that the Konoha genin had disappeared. Naruto, Sasuke, Karen, Ino, Shikamaru, and Koji were all jumping towards where the tower was supposed to be, going as fast as they could. Naruto, Sasuke, any idea why those three were specifically after you? Shikamaru asked from Naruto's left side, startling him. Shit! Naruto screamed as he stumbled and fell, barely catching himself on one of the trees and rejoining the others. Don't sneak up on me like that. Shikamaru sighed. I've been to your left the entire time. My left eye was just ripped out, you can't expect me to know when someone's to my left. Oh. Right. Anyways, probably because we're the last two Uchiha. They wouldn't be the first ones after our Sharingan, probably won't be the last. Naruto guessed. Or, Sasuke started as he fell back to Naruto and Shikamaru. Orochimaru might have sent them. Naruto shuddered. Who was that guy anyways? Orochimaru of the legendary Sunin. Shikamaru stated. Whoa. Naruto gasped. What's a Sunin? Shikamaru and Sasuke both sweat dropped. The Sunin are three of the strongest shinobi Konoha ever produced, all trained by the Sandaime. Orochimaru defected from the village after being caught experimenting on hundreds of children. Shikamaru explained. Holy shit. Naruto muttered. And that guy was after my eye. Yeah, you're lucky to still have your eye. Shikamaru told him. Sasuke grunted in agreement. He could have killed both of us at any point. Yeah. Naruto agreed. So you think that Orochimaru guy sent those genin? Sasuke grunted. Shit. Naruto swore. Shikamaru glanced at Naruto with confusion. You can understand that. Naruto shrugged. I think it's an Uchiha thing. Troublesome. Shikamaru muttered, and the group continued towards the tower. Half an hour later. After about half an hour, the tower was finally in view. Naruto kept his right Sharingan active the entire time, that way they could see through any genjutsu that might block their path. Sasuke offered to, but Naruto was the less chakra exhausted of the two, meaning he was fine as long as he kept his Sharingan active in one eye. Team 10, Naruto, Sasuke, and Karen all came to a stop in front of the tower. Finally. Naruto yelled. SHH. Shikamaru hissed. There might be others here. Naruto sheepishly scratched the back of his head and whispered, right. Well, we should split up now. Sasuke whispered and turned to Karen. Since your team isn't actually here, I assume you just try and enter? You won't be passing, though. Oh, right. Thank you for helping me survive. Karen bowed to Naruto and Sasuke. Naruto held his hands up for her to stop. No need to thank us, you helped prevent me from looking like Kaka-sensei for the rest of my life. Naruto told Karen, temporarily raising his forehead protector to reveal his blue and bloodshot eye. Besides, we're clan mates. Sasuke gave Karen an actual smile. Yeah, thank you for helping me and Naruto after our fight with the snake bastard. Sasuke told her with a slight bow. Call it even? Karen asked, receiving a nod from both Uchiha. Alright, well, we should all get going to where we need to be. You two should both double check that your eyes are fine with another medic. Naruto grinned at her. Alright. Naruto said and grabbed Sasuke, then turned to face Team 10. By Shikamaru, Ino, and Koji. Ino and Koji, who had been mostly silent since hearing about what happened to Naruto and Sasuke, just gave a small smile. Yeah, by Naruto. By Sasuke. They both said robotically. Sasuke just gave them a short wave and both he and Naruto disappeared, heading towards where they were supposed to be. Naruto and Sasuke entered a room and saw a poem about heaven and earth. Naruto, of course, couldn't make heads or tails of it. So he stared at Sasuke, hoping his teammate could figure it out. Naruto asked. Sasuke shrugged. Maybe just open the scrolls. I dunno, this might be the one time Sakura would be helpful. Though, it's probably best she isn't here because of what happened with Orochimaru. Sasuke told Naruto and pulled out the scrolls, tossing one to Naruto. Yeah, it's probably for the best. Naruto agreed. Alright. Open on 3, 2, 1. Naruto counted down, and they both opened the scrolls at one. The scrolls smoked a bit. Toss it. Sasuke commanded, tossing his own scroll with Naruto following his lead. Smoke filled the area for a few seconds, clearing to reveal Iruka Umino, Naruto, and Sasuke's former teacher. Naruto, Sasuke Iruka started to greet, then he noticed the state they were both in and the missing teammate. Iruka ran up to them frantically. What happened to your eyes? Where's Sakura? Naruto gave Iruka a one-eyed smile. Hey, Iruka-sensei. Don't worry, Sakura didn't take the exam. She's fine, you know. Naruto told his former sensei. Iruka sighed in relief, though he wasn't fully calmed down. That's good, but why do you both have dried blood coming from your left eye? And why is your left eye covered? Is your eye okay? Iruka asked. It's fine. Naruto reassured him, lifting up his headband to show his fine but bloodshot eye. It's just bleeding because this Orochimaru guy ripped it out, but we had one of my clan members with me and she put it back in and helped heal it. Sasuke's eye is just strained, but it should probably be checked out. Naruto explained, way more casually than he should have, replacing his headband over his eye. Iruka went paper white. Your eye was ripped out? By Orochimaru? One of the legendary Sunin? But it was healed by a clan member? An Uchiha? How did you get away from Orochimaru? Iruka was cut off by Sasuke sticking his hand out to stop him. 1. Sasuke started, staring at Naruto. Your eye needs to be checked out way more than mine. Sasuke deadpanned at him, and looked back to Iruka. 2. We got lucky and Orochimaru was forced to leave. 3. It was an Uzumaki, not an Uchiha. Sasuke explained. Iruka sighed again. At least you're okay. Now, we should probably get both of you to a medic. Both of you pass, and you'll have at least 4 more days before you need to do anything. I really hope your eyes will be fine by then. However, both of you seriously need to report everything that happened to Lord Third. Iruka informed them. I assumed as much. Sasuke stated. Iruka nodded. Alright, follow me. He told his former students, walking further into the building and through a door. Tower, medical room. Naruto and Sasuke were both being checked over by the medic ninjas stationed at the tower. Aside from his eye, which was still pretty bloodshot, Naruto was fine. All of his other injuries had already healed and his eye would be fine soon, as long as he makes sure not to use it for at least a day to be safe. Sasuke's eye was in better shape, though they recommended him to not do anything that may stress his eyes worse, and they managed to heal most of his injuries from the fight with Orochimaru. He was still a bit sore, but it was nothing that'd interfere with him fighting or moving around. Naruto now had an actual bandage over his eye, though he chose to keep the forehead protector over it anyways. Naruto and Sasuke were both laying on their beds and sleeping when Kakashi entered, the Hokage directly behind him. "Naruto! Sasuke!" Kakashi shouted. His voice had none of its usual carelessness because his students were attacked by a Sunin. Kakashi ran between their two beds, looking back and forth between the laying genin. "Kaka-sensei?" Naruto questioned, opening his one eye to look up at his sensei. Sasuke opened his eyes to look at Kakashi too, but stayed quiet. Naruto moved his head to look at the other new entry, the Hokage. "Old man." Kakashi, staring down at Naruto, couldn't help but wince when he realized what eye was ripped out, the same one Obito gave to him. "Irika said your eye was alright, is that true?" Kakashi asked, concern dripping from his voice. Naruto nodded exhaustedly. "Yeah, Karen helped heal me, you know." "Is she alright?" "She didn't have a team with her when we found her, but I wanted to make sure she was fine." "So, was she allowed to be taken somewhere safe?" Naruto asked. Hiruzen nodded. "Yes, Naruto. Karen was taken back to the safety of the village, as she couldn't stay here due to not passing the exam," Hiruzen informed Naruto. Naruto smiled. "Thanks, old man." Sasuke sat up in his bed, facing the two adults in the room. "I assume you want to hear about Orochimaru?" Sasuke asked. Hiruzen nodded again. "Yeah. Mostly, we would like to know how two genin were able to escape a Sunin." Hiruzen confirmed. Naruto sat up in his own bed and looked at Sasuke. "Are you gonna tell them?" Naruto asked. Sasuke nodded. "Yeah." Sasuke confirmed, then looked to Hiruzen. "Though, I'd like the room to be private when I do," Sasuke told the Hokage, who motioned for Kakashi to leave, but Sasuke held up a hand for him to stay. "Kakashi can stay, I'm sure he already knows the secret we'll be telling you." Hiruzen raised an eyebrow but activated a privacy seal and motioned for his Umbu guards to leave. "All right, the room is secure," Hiruzen told Sasuke. Sasuke quickly scanned the room to the best of his ability, deciding it seemed fine. Sasuke then stared at Kakashi. "Remember when I told you about the mangyeko Sharingan?" Sasuke asked. Kakashi nodded. "Yeah. Itachi told you that, in order to awaken it, you would have to kill your best friend." "Why?" Kakashi asked. He could guess where it was going, but didn't understand how Naruto could be here if Sasuke had awakened it. Sasuke sighed. It seems that he was lying or didn't know the full truth. Hiruzen questioned. His sensei, Tobirama Senju, told him about the mangyeko Sharingan, but he wasn't sure how Itachi was lying. Sasuke temporarily pushed more chakra into his eyes, revealing the new Sharingan pattern, before deactivating it. He didn't strain his eyes as long as he didn't actually use the mangyeko, and Kakashi's visible eye widened at the display. Me and Naruto were completely outmatched by that snake bastard. He was toying with us. Sasuke snarled. After we were fighting for a bit, Orochimaru captured Naruto, binding him to a tree. I was almost completely incapacitated by that point and could only watch in horror as Orochimaru took Naruto's left eye. As Orochimaru went to take Naruto's right eye, my vision went black and my eyes burned, then Orochimaru's arm went up in black flames, forcing him to run away and leave the eye. Sasuke explained. "I see." Hiruzen muttered. "And this ability is what caused the strain in your left eye?" Hiruzen asked. Sasuke nodded. "I think so. I don't know much about it, but I know it's not something I can use often." Sasuke confirmed. Kakashi pulled up his forehead protector that was covering his eye. How exactly did you activate it? Kakashi asked. Channel more chakra to your Sharingan. Sasuke explained. So, he does think he has it? That explains his weird reaction when we were at wave. Kakashi did as Sasuke instructed, revealing a shuriken pattern in his own Sharingan. It had 3 points, all with the ends curved and leading to the next point. Mangyeko Sharingan. Kakashi muttered and deactivated it, lowering his forehead protector as he deactivated it. Naruto gave Sasuke a confused look. So, Kaka-sensei does have the mangyeko? Naruto asked. Sasuke nodded. Yeah, he does. You guys knew? Kakashi asked. Yeah, your reaction to it wasn't exactly subtle at Tajuna's house. Sasuke told Kakashi. Hiruzen hummed, drawing attention back to him. So, you awakened it from a sense of protection, rather than guilt? Hiruzen asked. Sasuke shrugged. I guess so. I really wanted to protect Naruto from losing his eyes. Naruto grinned. You do care? Naruto exclaimed and pointed a finger at Sasuke. Of course I do, idiot. Being an idiot doesn't mean you aren't an Uchiha, just means you're an idiot Uchiha. Sasuke shot back at him with a smirk. If I'm such an idiot, how come we're so equally matched? Being an idiot doesn't make you weak. Just means your brain is filled with more fighting than it is with actual knowledge. Hiruzen chuckled. He was glad to see that, despite the incident with Orochimaru, the two were the same as always. Anyways, Hiruzen started, stopping the argument from going any further. You two will have a few days to rest here. Orochimaru won't attack you again, at least not here, so you should be able to rest without worry. Thanks, old man. So, how many other teams have passed? Naruto asked. Hiruzen smiled. It's only the first day. A team from Suna passed and Team 10 has passed. More may have passed since I've been talking to you, but I expect far more to pass over the next few days. He told Naruto. Naruto grinned. So, despite being attacked by the snake bastard, we were still one of the fastest. Naruto exclaimed. Kakashi gave his students an eye smile. Guess my intense training paid off. Naruto stood up and pointed an accusatory finger at Kakashi. Training? You mean torture? Naruto exclaimed. Naruto. Training, torture, what's the difference? At the end of the day, it paid off. Kakashi told them with a shrug. Umbu-style training, eh? Hiruzen asked. Kakashi nodded. They wanted training, I delivered. He stated simply. HN. Sasuke grunted. Hiruzen smiled at the scene. Teacher and students. I hope this team would help bring Kakashi out of the darkness, it seems I was right. Hiruzen thought. Well, I should get going if you two are truly alright. You can walk around the tower and talk to any of the other teams if you feel up to it, just don't leave. Yeah, we're fine old man. Plus, you better get as much use out of that hat as you can now, since I'll be taking it from you soon. Naruto claimed with a grin. Hiruzen chuckled again. I think I'll hold you to that, Naruto. I'm getting too old for this. Hiruzen joked and made an exaggerated back-cracking movement. Well, I'll get going now. Goodbye Kakashi, Naruto, and Sasuke. Bye, old man. Naruto exclaimed as Hiruzen left the room. Kakashi looked between his two students with a genuine smile under his mask. I'm so glad they're all right. I don't think I could stand to lose either of them. Kakashi thought. All right, you two should get some more rest. You have a few days before you need to do anything, so I recommend you two using those days to let your bodies, and eyes, recover. Kakashi suggested. Naruto nodded. Yeah, it'd be nice to be able to have my full range of vision back. How do you handle keeping an eye covered all the time, Kaka-sensei? Naruto asked. Kakashi shrugged. I dunno. Just got used to it, I guess. Maybe you should keep that on after your eye is healed, that way you can be adapted in case it ever happens again. Kakashi half suggested and half joked. HN. Naruto grunted, shocking Sasuke and Kakashi with the Uchiha-like gesture. After he realized what he did, Naruto himself was shocked and his eyes widened in horror. Aha! Sasuke laughed, way less stoic than usual. You are an Uchiha. No 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 no, Naruto muttered and grabbed the pillow on his bed, hitting his head with the pillow as Kakashi and Sasuke laughed at him. Naruto looked up from the pillow and glared at his laughing teammate and sensei, his stare reminiscent of the one his father gave his enemies. Never speak of this again. Kakashi raised his hands in a placating gesture, though his visible eye betrayed his mirth. Sasuke didn't even bother to hide his smirk. Of course, Naruto. You totally didn't just HN. Kakashi teased. Naruto just groaned into his pillow while Sasuke and Kakashi began to tease him. 5 days later. All of the past genin were standing in a room that looked vaguely like an arena as the Hokage gave a speech on the point of the exams. Naruto and Sasuke were both fully healed by now, Sasuke thanks to his injuries being minor and Naruto thanks to his Uzumaki and Kyuubi healing. Before the Hokage could finish his speech, a sickly-looking jonin cut in and told them about the preliminaries. Most of the genin were upset about the possibility of preliminaries, but Naruto and Sasuke were excited. They were looking forward to being able to fight someone in a 1v1, someone that wasn't a Sunin. They shuffled the names on an electric board to see who would go first and Sasuke smirked when he saw who it was. Sasuke Uchiha vs Yoruichi Akadu. Naruto held out a fist in front of Sasuke. Don't lose. Naruto told Sasuke with a grin. Of course not. Sasuke responded with a smirk. As all of the other genin went up to the balcony to watch the match, Sasuke looked at his opponent. He was a genin of Konoha, though Sasuke had never seen him before. He knew nothing about his opponent, while his opponent probably knew about the Uchiha. Perfect. I'll have to test my skills against a disadvantage. Sasuke thought with a smirk. An Uchiha. His opponent, Yoruichi, said with what was probably a smirk, though he couldn't see it under the bandana. Perfect, I'll show my skills by beating a member of one of the founding clans. You're gonna get your ass kicked by a member of a founding clan. Sasuke scoffed and slipped into his taijutsu stance. Before Yoruichi had a chance to respond to the remark, Sasuke charged. Sasuke's Sharingan was already active and blazing as the two entered a fierce taijutsu battle. Sasuke seemed to have the upper hand, his Sharingan granted him far greater reflexes and abilities, but something was off. Each blow made movement more and more tiring. Sasuke focused on where their attacks made contact and noticed it. His opponent was smart, the attack was subtle enough for him to not notice at first. Sasuke fell back and began to just dodge Yoruichi's attacks, rather than fight back. You're draining my chakra. Sasuke stated, it wasn't a question. Yoruichi halted his attack for a moment. You noticed, eh? I thought I was being subtle enough for it to escape the notice of your Sharingan. No matter, this just means I don't need to be subtle anymore. Yoruichi said and resumed his attack. This time, though, he drained far more with each point of contact. The loss of chakra was starting to affect Sasuke's movements, so he fell back and started racing through hand signs. Fire style, fireball jutsu. Sasuke exclaimed, taking a deep breath and breathing out a massive ball of fire. Yoruichi, unable to absorb the ninjutsu attack, dodged to the side but burned his right arm in the process. Shit. Yoruichi growled. As Yoruichi tried to right himself, Sasuke rushed him and began attacking his injured side. Strike after strike, faster than Yoroi could recover enough to drain his chakra, Sasuke took his opponent down. Yoroi, unable to straighten up, collapsed onto the ground and Sasuke knocked him out with a final blow to the back of the neck. After waiting a few seconds, to make sure Yoroi was unconscious, Sasuke turned to the proctor. "He's done," Sasuke told him. "Winner, Sasuke Uchiha." The proctor, "Hayate," announced. Sasuke jumped up to the balcony and joined Naruto and Kakashi. "Told you I'd win," Sasuke said with a smirk. Naruto grinned. "Didn't doubt you for a second. I just hope I can go next," Naruto told Sasuke and watched the names shuffle, groaning when he saw it wasn't him. Zaku Abumi vs Shino Aberame. Shino won the fight by demonstrating how terrifying, and flat-out freaky, the Aberame clan can be. He filled the holes in Zaku's arms with his bugs, causing Zaku's arms to literally blow off. Zaku had to be taken out by a stretcher and both Uchiha made a mental note to stay on the Aberame's good side. Ick. Naruto cringed, looking at the bugs crawling back into Shino's body. Misumi Tsurugi vs Kankuro. Again, Naruto and Sasuke didn't recognize the leaf ninja. The guy, however, they recognized as the brother of the red-headed kid they met before and the guy who bullied Konohamaru. Kankuro appeared to be losing the fight to begin with, though that turned out to be a farce. The Kankuro turned out to be a puppet, and Kankuro won the fight soon after the reveal. Naruto turned to Kakashi. "What was that? I used my Sharingan and saw a bunch of strings made of chakra. How'd he do that?" Naruto asked. "Puppetry, it's a speciality of Tsunagakuer. They use those chakra strings to control the puppets. Masters in the art can be very dangerous," Kakashi explained. "Huh, weird," Naruto said with a shrug and turned to the board. Tenten vs Temari. The next match also included one of the redhead siblings, his sister Temari. The other fighter was a member of Rock Lee's team, Tenten. Both were skilled fighters in their own right, but Temari had a clear advantage. The fight was ended quickly when Temari blew away all of Tenten's weapons with her wind jutsu. Tenten wasn't necessarily worse than Temari, but the fight was tilted in Temari's favor. "Ah, man. That was kinda dull," Naruto muttered. It was just an unfair matchup. Tenten's on that Lee kid's team, so she might have done a lot better against anyone else," Sasuke told Naruto. Naruto nodded. "Yeah, probably. Though the blonde girl is cute. She's also one of the only people I've met who have a wind affinity. I really wish she could have shown jutsu I could copy," Naruto said as he watched Temari walk back up to her brothers. Shikamaru Nara vs Kintsuke. Shikamaru won this match by displaying the famous Nara intelligence, though his Nara laziness nearly got in the way of that. He outsmarted his opponent to make her lose. Huh, Shikamaru is really smart. Wasn't he like the second worst in the academy? Naruto asked. Sasuke nodded. Yeah, but that's just because he didn't apply himself. Besides, you should know better than anyone that academy standings don't really matter anymore. Naruto shrugged and turned his attention back to the board, grinning when he saw the matchup. Sasuke smirked when he saw it. I'll tell everyone about the HN incident if you lose to him, Sasuke joked, though Naruto didn't pay any attention. Naruto Uzumaki vs Kiba Inyazuka. Woohoo! Naruto cheered and jumped down to the arena, Kiba jumping down with him. Get ready for an ass-kicking, dog breath. As if I'd lose to the dead last, Kiba retorted as he stood across from Naruto, Akamaru to his right. Hayate raised a hand to signal the start. Begin, Hayate announced. Naruto activated his Sharingan, eyes bleeding red as three Tomo spun into existence, and slipped into the same stance Sasuke taught him. Let's go, Akamaru, Kiba said and ran at Naruto, Akamaru in tow. Naruto easily dodged the assault with his Sharingan, countering with a strike to Kiba's back. Gonna have to do better than that, dog breath. Naruto chided. Kiba, recovering from the assault, grinned. I was planning to. Kiba said as he tossed a small ball to Akamaru, who quickly ate it, and Akamaru's fur went red. Damn, he dodged me so effortlessly. Guess I'll have to resort to this quicker than I thought. Kiba thought and held up a sign. Beast mimicry. Kiba announced, and took on a more canine-like fighting stance. Then he transformed Akamaru into a second Kiba, indistinguishable from the real one. How do you like this? You're outnumbered. Naruto just stared at them, completely unimpressed. You're not the only one who can make a perfect copy of themselves, you know. Naruto deadpanned and held up his favorite sign. Shadow Clone Jutsu. Naruto said monotonously, and 3 clones popped into existence. Now you're outnumbered. You finally learned clones, huh? Doesn't really matter, it's not like they can do anything. Kiba scoffed, completely off guard as 2 of the clones approached him. Oh no, I'm being approached by clones. I hope they don't hit. Kiba's mocking was cut off by both he and Akamaru being hit and thrown back by the approaching clones. The real Naruto grinned. You were saying? The hell? Kiba asked as he shook his head and got back up. Solid clones. Some Sharingan trick. Naruto shook his head, still grinning. Nah, this is actually my one cool ability I got before my Sharingan. Naruto proudly stated. Though, I don't think I really need them here. Naruto told Kiba and dispelled his 3 shadow clones, giving Kiba and Akamaru the numerical advantage again. Why? Kiba asked, then smirked. Doesn't matter. Let's go, Akamaru. Kiba shouted and pulled smoke bombs out of his pouch, throwing them at Naruto and filling the area with smoke. Good luck using your Sharingan with all this smoke. Naruto stood still and let the smoke envelop him, grin never leaving his face. Fang over fang. Rang out across the smoke, followed closely by the 2 attackers trying to hit Naruto. Good luck dodging in all this smoke. Kiba shouted. True to Kiba's word, Naruto found it difficult to dodge the blind attacks. As he was getting attacked from all over, Naruto's grin became a smirk. You're right, dog breath. The smoke does make it hard to dodge. Naruto responded and sped through hand signs. Wind style, great breakthrough. Naruto shouted, releasing a giant gust of wind from his mouth that blew away the smoke. Kiba growled damn. And halted his assault. Guess blinding you won't work, so me and Akamaru will just have to fight you head on. Naruto grinned again as the duo charged him. As expected of an Inuzuka, Kiba and Akamaru worked together perfectly. They fought brashly, but they didn't fight stupid. Normal eyes may not have been able to pick up on the subtle differences between man and dog, or catch the small openings they left, but Naruto's eyes weren't normal. As the duo threw attack after attack at Naruto, Naruto focused his Sharingan on the one he determined to be Akamaru. Eventually he successfully caught sight of Akamaru's eyes, making Akamaru halt his attack. Kiba, noticing his partner stopping, halted his own attack and fell back. Akamaru? Kiba asked, getting no response. Kiba turned to Naruto with a scowl. What did you do? Kiba growled. Naruto's grin never left his face. Akamaru, attack. Naruto commanded. As if Kiba started but was cut off, to his surprise, by Akamaru. Akamaru, still transformed into a clone of Kiba, began to attack the real Kiba. Not wanting to harm his furry friend, Kiba stayed on the defense and glanced confusingly at Naruto. What did you do to Akamaru? Kiba demanded, Akamaru slowly wearing down his defense. Naruto just shrugged and pointed to his eyes, as if it was obvious. Maybe don't rush a Sharingan user with your dog. Naruto suggested. Kiba scowled. Genjutsu. Naruto nodded. Akamaru, here. Naruto commanded, causing Akamaru to stop the attack and rush to Naruto's side. Honestly, dog breath, I don't wanna make you hurt your own dog. I really don't wanna hurt a dog either, you know. How about you just forfeit? Kiba growled and declared, I'll just have to defeat you without Akamaru. Naruto, deciding to just make Akamaru sit out, easily dodged when Kiba rushed at him. They went into a short taijutsu battle, but Naruto's Sharingan gave him the clear upper hand. Kiba, realizing he didn't stand a chance without Akamaru, went for a feint before dodging to his companion. Kiba sent a quick pulse of chakra to interrupt the genjutsu over Akamaru, bringing his dog back to his side. "Ah man!" Naruto whined. Kiba grinned and ordered Akamaru, "Don't look into his eyes again." Kiba got a bark in response and smiled smugly at Naruto. Fang over fang. The attack resumed as it did before the genjutsu, though Kiba and Akamaru took special care to not look into Naruto's eyes. Naruto carefully dodged all of their attacks, his Sharingan making their movements seem slow. He noticed a pattern on their movements. The real Kiba would almost always attack first, with the transformed Akamaru following up with a supplementary attack. Kiba would attack with a right hook, Akamaru would attack with a left kick. Naruto's Sharingan let him read all of these movements and see how to take full advantage of them. Naruto countered Kiba's punch, sending him into Akamaru's kick, causing a break from the assault and bouncing back at the opportunity. "Nice job avoiding looking at my eyes, dog breath, but have fun avoiding this." Naruto started to run through hand signs at an extremely fast pace, faster than most of the genin could see. "Lightning style, lightning ball jutsu," Naruto announced, and around 30 balls of lightning formed around him. Lightning wasn't his affinity, wind would always come easiest to him, but he trained lightning jutsu regardless just because both Sasuke and Kakashi did. His lightning style would never be as good as theirs when using equal amounts of chakra, but he could overload his jutsu with chakra without even noticing the drain. Kiba paled when he saw the balls of lightning form behind Naruto, then the lightning balls shot at him and Akamaru. Naruto didn't have much control over the lightning he shot, so they flew indiscriminately, but the sheer amount made it difficult for Kiba and Akamaru to dodge. "Shit!" Kiba screamed as one hit him in the gut, sending him flying into Akamaru and then into the wall. The rest of the lightning balls caused small craters and cracks in the walls and floor. Kiba was slumped against a cracked wall, his beast transformation and Akamaru's transformation both dispelled. Naruto was standing in the middle of the arena, grinning sheepishly at all of the destruction. "Too far?" Naruto asked the proctor. "Hayate." Hayate shrugged and walked over to Kiba. "Can you move?" Hayate asked, only getting a groan in response. Hayate walked over to Naruto in the middle of the arena. "Naruto Uzumaki Uchiha wins," Hayate declared with a cough. "Woohoo!" Naruto cheered as the medic ninja gathered Kiba and Akamaru onto stretchers. Naruto then walked over to where the balconies were, pushing chakra into his feet to jump back up. Sasuke held up a fist for Naruto to fist bump, which he did. "Nice job, though the lightning style was a bit much," Sasuke told Naruto. Naruto just grinned. "But it was awesome, right? Especially since wind is my affinity," Naruto announced. The audience, already shocked by a genin's use of a jutsu on such a large scale, became even more shocked by the new information. One of the other blondes, Temari, raised an eyebrow. "A leaf shinobi with wind affinity? Interesting." To Temari's right was her brother, Gaara. He was staring at Naruto and Sasuke with unveiled bloodlust in his eyes. "They will prove my existence," Gaara muttered, crazy dripping from every syllable. Naruto and Sasuke had to suppress a shiver when they saw the redhead staring at them and chose to focus on the next match instead. Hinata Hyuga vs Niji Hyuga. Byakugan vs Byakugan, huh? Sasuke asked, looking at the two Hyuga. He didn't know much about either of them, other than Neji being on Lee's team and Hinata being shy. Sasuke elbowed Naruto. Make sure to pay attention, that Neji kid is probably pretty strong. And they've got the only other dojutsu of the village. Naruto heeded Sasuke's advice, paying close attention to the match with his Sharingan. It was an extremely one-sided match. Hinata tried to put up a good fight, but she was too outmatched by her prodigious cousin. Naruto tried to offer words of encouragement, but all those did was cause her to get beat worse. Despite how outmatched she was, she wouldn't give up. The match only ended when the Jonin sensei jumped in to stop Neji from dealing a finishing blow, which pissed the Hyuga off even more. Naruto looked sadly at Hinata's unconscious form on the stretcher and jumped down to look at Neji, wiping his hand across the blood that spilled on the floor. He held out his fist at Neji, Hinata's blood dripping from it, and his eyes betrayed his rage. They were blood red, his tomo spinning furiously as he stared at Neji. For Hinata, Naruto thought. I vow to win. Naruto declared. Neji scoffed. It was your destiny to make it this far, and it was her destiny to lose here. But, Uchiha or not, your destiny is to lose because I will win the exams. Neji stated. Naruto continued to glare at Neji and deactivated his Sharingan. Too pissed to retort, anger roaring through his head, he simply walked away and jumped back up to the balcony without another word. Sasuke just put a hand on his shoulder and they looked for the next matchup. Interesting. They both thought. Gaara vs Rock Lee. The next match was brutal and probably the best one yet. Naruto and Sasuke were both secretly glad they didn't have to fight either Lee or Gaara. Sasuke didn't think he'd be able to win without using his new mangyeko, and even that felt iffy. Naruto wasn't sure he could win, period. Every time they thought the match was shifted one way, the other one seemed to get stronger. Gaara's perfect defense, Lee's weights, Gaara's sand armor, Lee's gates. By the end they were expecting a new technique at every turn, but Gaara eventually won. Both were exhausted by the end of the match. It looked like Lee was about to win, but the gates apparently took a huge toll on his body and stamina. Gaara was laying on the ground when he attacked Lee with one final, and brutal, sand coffin. Crushing Lee's arm and leg, Gaara was prepared to go in for the kill, Lee's life only being saved by another intervention of the Jonin sensei. Naruto and Sasuke stared at Gaara in horror, the fight burned into their instinctively activated Sharingan. They both knew exactly what Gaara used to win the match, and Naruto could guess why Gaara ended up the way he did. Everyone, save for the Sand Shinobi, were so shocked by the match that they barely heard the proctor's next words. Due to the odd number of participants, the last match will be a match of 3. Hayate announced, and everyone looked up at the board. Ino Yamanaka vs Dosukhinyata vs Koji Akimichi. Naruto turned to Sasuke. Isn't it kind of unfair to have teammates in a 1v1v1? Won't Ino and Koji just work together? Naruto asked. Sasuke shrugged. I doubt Ino will be very helpful anyways, it'll probably just be Koji against that Dosu guy. I guess. True to Sasuke's predictions, Ino didn't make much of an impact one way or another. She tried to help Koji defeat Dosu, but, though her jutsu is a lot more useful with a teammate, Koji couldn't support her the same way Shikamaru could. Ino was simply outmatched and a burden on Koji, who tried to protect her. It was obvious she should have spent more time on personal training, rather than rely on her teammates for everything. Ino was knocked out by Dosu, so the match came down to Dosu vs Koji. Koji tried to put up a good fight against Dosu, but he was defeated by Dosu's sound attacks. Since that was the final match, Hayate called everyone down to the arena floor. The Hokage stepped forward to speak to the prospective Chunin. He explained when the finals would be held, and why they would be held a month later. Hiruzen also explained some of the politics and public excitement that goes into the finals of the Chunin exams, before Anko revealed a box with slips to determine who fights who. Everyone drew from the box and Anko instructed them to announce their numbers. It's 8. Dosu stated. I've got 1. Naruto said. 4. Sasuke said. 7. Temari said. 5. Kankuro said. 3. Gaara drawled. 9. Shikamaru said. 2. Niji said. 6. Shino said. After making sure everyone's numbers were written down, the Hokage stepped forward and explained what the final match would be, as well as what the numbers meant. He showed them a bracket so everyone would know who they were fighting. The finals were Naruto Uzumaki Uchiha vs Niji Hyuga, Gaara of the Sand vs Sasuke Uchiha, Kankuro vs Shino Abarame, Dosu Kinyata vs Shikamaru Nara, Temari vs winner of Dosu vs Shikamaru. What a drag, an extra match. Shikamaru thought. Naruto glared over at his opponent. Perfect, I'll get the chance to teach that bastard a lesson. Naruto thought and looked over at Sasuke. But Sasuke has to fight. Sasuke looked at his matchup with a mix of apprehension and excitement. I have to fight him. Guess that means I need a lot of training from Kakashi. After the matches were decided, Hiruzen explained how the promotions would work. Performance in the matches, rather than the outcomes of the matches. Then Hiruzen dismissed all of the genin, so Naruto and Sasuke walked over to where Kakashi was waiting. Kakashi. Sasuke asked to get his teacher's attention. Kakashi asked without looking up from his book. I hate to admit it, but I'll need a lot more training if I want to beat that Gaara kid. There's something off about him. Kakashi looked at his student. Is that a request for more training? Sasuke sighed. Yes. He confirmed. Kakashi snapped his book shut. All right, I'll train you for the next month. Kakashi told Sasuke, who winced at the memory of Kakashi's training. Naruto opened his mouth to ask an obvious question, but Kakashi silenced him with a finger. Naruto, there's someone else who has offered to train you in light of your experience with Orochimaru. Naruto pouted. But I want to train with Dash. I think you'll appreciate who's offered to train you. Kakashi told him with an eye smile. It's a surprise, though. He's asked to meet you at the hot springs tomorrow at noon. Naruto looked confused and asked why the hot springs. Kakashi looked perversely at his Ika, but the expression was missed by Naruto and Sasuke. Oh, he has his reasons. Naruto shrugged. All right, I guess. Naruto turned to Sasuke and held out a fist. Make sure to train hard, because you'll be fighting me after Gaara. Sasuke smirked and fist bumped him. Make sure you train hard, too, cause it'll be Sharingan vs Sharingan once you beat the Byakugan prodigy. Kakashi grabbed his student's shoulders. How about we go tell Sakura about your passing, and then we can go get some food? Kakashi asked. Naruto grinned. Yeah. Let's go to Ichiraku. Naruto cheered, and ran away before the other two could protest. Sasuke and Kakashi both signed and followed the excitable blonde. Intermission. Ichiraku Ramen. Team 7 was sitting at the ramen stand, waiting for their meal, after the Chunin exams. Sakura had been waiting for their return since she heard that the second round was over, and Naruto managed to drag them to Ichiraku to tell her what happened. They tried to bring Kakashi, but he ducked out when they weren't paying attention. So, how bad was it? Sakura asked. Well, we had some issues, but, Naruto shrugged. The first part was pretty easy. It was just a paper exam, and being a genius Uchiha, I obviously passed EAS-. He freaked out until I told him he could copy other people with his Sharingan. Sasuke said, cutting Naruto off. Naruto smacked the back of Sasuke's head. Hey! I would have figured it out. Naruto whined. So it was fun. Sakura laughed. Yeah! Naruto exclaimed, and immediately dug into his food as it was put in front of him. Well, except for the part with the snake bastard and the eye-ripping dash. The what? Sakura shouted. Sasuke sighed. I thought we agreed to let me approach the subject. Did we? Naruto asked, scratching the back of his head. Huh. I forgot. Sakura was looking back and forth between the two with pure confusion. Explain what? What about eye ripping? She asked. Naruto shrugged again. There was this dude named Orochimaru that dash. Orochimaru? The Sunin. Sakura screamed. Naruto opened his mouth to respond, but Sasuke put a hand over it. Let me explain, idiot. You're acting way too casually about having your eye ripped out. What about having an eye ripped out? Sakura asked. Sasuke prepared to respond, but cringed and dropped his hand from Naruto's mouth and wiped it against his pants. Did you just lick me? Naruto grinned. Yeah. Plus, it was my eye that got ripped out, so I get to explain it. Naruto said. HN. Sasuke grunted. Naruto took that as concession to go on, and grinned at Sakura. Anyways. Yeah, that snake bastard Orochimaru attacked us. Apparently he wanted our eyes or something, and he ripped my left eye out. Sasuke caught him off guard with, Naruto and Sasuke shared a look. A fire style and caused him to flee. Karen, oh yeah, you haven't met her. She's an Uzumaki, like me, apparently, put my eye back in and everything turned out fine. Naruto explained, way more cheerfully than he should have. Sakura blinked once, then twice, then a third time before she could think of a response. You were attacked by a Sunin. And Sasuke made him flee? And you met someone from your other clan? And you lost your eye and then put it back in? Naruto nodded, digging into his ramen like he didn't just describe a life-threatening experience. And your eye is fine? Sakura asked, angling her head to try and see Naruto's left eye as he ate. I didn't think you could just heal an eye like that. Did that, Karen girl do ocular surgery? Naruto looked up from his bowl and scrunched his face in confusion. Aka what now? She put it back in, helped me start heal, and my body just healed the rest. Naruto shrugged. Ocular surgery. Surgery on the eyes. Sakura explained. You can't just heal a removed eye. It's probably even more delicate with Sharingan. There's no way dash. I heal really fast. Naruto said, as if it explained everything. Looking at Sakura, he realized it didn't. Karen said Uzumaki heal fast, so it's probably a clan thing. You're from a clan with one of the 3 legendary dojutsu and a clan with healing abilities. Sakura asked. Naruto nodded, causing Sakura to slam her head on the table. That's so unfair. She whined. Welcome to my world. Sasuke groaned. If I lost an eye, I'd need a full medic ninja to put it back in. Though, he doesn't seem to have a full Ragen ability. Karen still had to do a lot of the work, Naruto just sped up the process. Maybe biting me would let you heal. Naruto suggested. Seeing Sakura's confused look, he decided to elaborate. Karen said she could do that. Floods your chakra system with her chakra, or whatever she said, to let you heal like we do. Sasuke gave him an "are you stupid" look. Do you really think flooding our system with your chakra would be a good idea? He asked. Naruto just rose an eyebrow, before mouthing ah. Why would that be a bad idea? Sakura asked. My dash Naruto started. His chakra isn't exactly the friendliest. Sasuke said, cutting Naruto off before he could dig the hole deeper. It'd probably cause issues. Karen's chakra is special, which allows her to lend it to people without backlash. Oh. Sakura's face lit up. I read some chakra theory about that. How some people have chakra that's more naturally compatible with others. Sakura exclaimed. Though, it would have been convenient if Naruto had compatible chakra. Medics can be really useful. She trailed off, gaining a look in her eye. Sasuke seemed to get where she was heading. Good idea, Sakura. Sasuke said, causing Sakura to blush. Naruto looked back and forth between his two teammates with confusion. What idea? He asked. Sakura stood up abruptly, slamming her hands lightly on the stand. I'm gonna be a medic ninja, she declared. That way, I'll be able to help you too and won't be a burden. Naruto grinned and Sasuke smirked. That's a great idea, Sakura. Naruto exclaimed. HN. Sasuke grunted. If that's so, you should probably get to work on the basics. Yeah. I should go to the library, or maybe the hospital. Sakura said, turning to leave the booth. Sasuke coughed, causing Sakura to turn back around. Your food. Sasuke deadpanned, pointing at Sakura's untouched bowl of ramen that Naruto was staring hungrily at. If you don't eat it, Naruto's gonna beat you to it. Sakura chuckled. Oh, right. She said, and sat back down in front of her bowl. Ah man. Naruto pouted, then put another bowl in front of him, instantly cheering him up. Thanks old man. You're very welcome, Naruto. Tuka said, smiling. Sakura wolfed down her food quickly, causing Naruto and Sasuke to give her a look of surprise. She finished her ramen and looked up at them. What? She asked. You eat faster than the idiot. Sasuke stated. Yeah, you ate faster, wait. Naruto smacked Sasuke on the back of the head. Why do you always do that? Sasuke smirked and shrugged, it's fun. Sakura put her money on the counter, ignoring her teammates and stood back up. Alright, well, I'm gonna go to the library. Sakura said, quickly stepping out of the booth and waving them goodbye. See you later. Sakura disappeared before they could respond, so the Uchiha turned to each other. Did we forget to mention that we might not be here much this month? Naruto asked. HN. Ah, great. She's gonna be mad when she finds out. Sasuke shrugged and went to finish his bowl, then pulled out money for both his food and Naruto's. Well, Kakashi said I should meet him at 6 in the morning tomorrow, so. Sasuke trailed off. He won't be there until 9. Naruto asked, earning a nod from Sasuke. In that case, wanna train a bit before we head back to the apartment? Yeah. It'll help us gauge how much we'll both have grown when we fight again during the finals. Assuming Kakashi's lateness doesn't rub off on you and make you late. Naruto teased. Sasuke ignored him and stood up. Come on. Sasuke said, and walked out of the booth in the direction of the training grounds. Naruto waved bye to Tuki and followed his teammate. Bathhouse, the next day. Naruto was waiting at the bathhouse for his new teacher. Sasuke and Kakashi had already left to start their training, but Kakashi promised he'd like his teacher. Why am I here of all places? Naruto wondered out loud. He just continued to impatiently pace around the place until he heard the sound of perverted giggling. Shrugging and deciding to look for the source, Naruto followed the sound of perverse giggling. When he reached the source, Naruto was met with the sight of an old guy with bushy white hair peeking at the woman's bath. Naruto pointed an accusatory finger at him and started to shout, "Hey, you dash," but was cut off by a quick hand covering his mouth. SHH. The pervert hushed him, not removing his gaze from the bath. Naruto licked the pervert's hand to make him let go. Pervert! Naruto shouted, causing the girls to all file out and run inside. The pervert looked at Naruto, instant recognition reaching his face that was hidden just as quickly. Hey, brat! I was doing valuable research. The pervert shouted back. Research? You were just spying on naked girls, you old pervert. Naruto accused, still pointing his finger at the pervert. The pervert stood up in a proud stance. That is my research. I'm researching women to write for my book, he claimed. Naruto looked completely unimpressed. Book? Who are you, you old pervert? I'm not just a pervert, I'm a super pervert. The super pervert announced before biting his thumb and running through hand signs quicker than Naruto could see. Then he slammed his palm against the ground and smoke filled the area, fading to reveal the super pervert standing on a large toad. I am the toad sage of Mount Myaboku, Jiraiya the Gallant. You're a ninja? Naruto asked, staring at the large toad that appeared from nowhere. Are you the one Kaka-sensei said wanted to train me, you pervert toad sage? Jiraiya grinned. Yes. I, Jiraiya of the legendary Sunin, will be training you. Naruto paled and backed up, raising his hands to protect his eyes. Sunin? Like that snake bastard? Jiraiya flinched at Naruto's recoiling and dispelled the toad summon before raising his hands in a placating gesture. I won't attack you like the snake bastard, Naruto. Sensei told me about your run-in with him. Jiraiya said, trying to calm down his new student. Naruto lowered his hand, though he was still on edge. Then why'd you want to train me, you pervy sage? Naruto asked. Don't call me that, brat. Jiraiya whined. Anyways, I wanted to train you because I trained the yondaime. Naruto's eyes became saucers at that. You trained my dash. Naruto stopped himself, remembering they were in public. You trained the yondaime. Jiraiya grinned. Let's go somewhere we can speak more freely. Jiraiya said and grabbed Naruto by the shoulder. Before Naruto could protest, Jiraiya transported them with a series of shunshin to a private spot by a river. Jiraiya expected Naruto to be nauseous after a series of unexpected shunshin, so he was shocked when he looked over and Naruto was grinning. Whoa! What was that? Naruto asked, looking around at the change in scenery. That was awesome, you know. How'd we move so fast? Jiraiya just stared down at him in surprise. Most people hate when I do that, you know. I wanna do that. Can you teach me that, pervy sage? Don't call me pervy sage. Jiraiya scratched his head. I guess I can teach you that second. Second? Well, first tell me what you know. I tried to ask Kakashi but he said I'd have more fun finding out on my own, though I have the feeling he was just being lazy. Naruto scratched his chin. What I know. Kaka-sensei taught me some tree walking, water walking, someone taught me how to fight with one eye, Sasuke fixed my taijutsu, I know shadow clones, a few wind, lightning, and fire jutsu, Sharingan genjutsu, tracking with Sharingan, how to resist mind control stuff. Naruto listed. Jiraiya grinned. Perfect. We can move right on to what I wanted to teach. Jiraiya exclaimed. First, have you ever noticed anything different with your chakra? Different? Like a second chakra inside of you. Naruto took on a pensive look before shrugging. Not really. Wait, do you mean like the Kyuubi? Naruto asked and got a nod in return. Nah, I haven't felt his chakra. That redhead kid, Gaara I think, had something similar though. It was creepy. I'd hate to have to use chakra like that, you know. Yeah, it'd probably suck. Jiraiya agreed. But your dad's seal is meant to slowly leak the Kyuubi's chakra into yours, that way you can use its power someday. Naruto reluctantly nodded. I guess that makes sense. But what if using the fox's chakra weakens the seal somehow? It hasn't leaked from me before, but what if doing this lets it get closer to escaping? What if dash? Naruto was stopped by Jiraiya's hand on his shoulder. Look, brat. Your dad was a genius, his seal wouldn't break unless you broke it yourself. I can understand your hesitance, but the fox's chakra is a necessary evil. So, I need you to meditate and learn how to use it. It can be gradual, if you want, though your Sharingan may let you control it eventually. Naruto perked up at that. Really? I could control it with the fox? Make it pay rent? Naruto asked. Jiraiya nodded. Exactly. Your dad accidentally hit the jackpot when he sealed it inside you, Uzumaki and Uchiha. You could make the fox give it your chakra. Make it give me its chakra? Isn't that kind of rude? Jiraiya just looked at him like he was insane. Rude. That monster killed your parents, giving you some chakra is the least it could do. Jiraiya deadpanned. But why would I want to use the power that killed my parents? Jiraiya frowned. Look, brat. Your father must have given you that power for a reason, and I trust him. It must have been something that even he couldn't handle. Are you saying you can surpass the Yondaime without the Kuwabai? Naruto stayed quiet for a moment after that, before his eyes took on a look of steely determination. Yeah. I already awakened my Sharingan. I'll surpass the rest of my family, without that stupid fox. Believe it? Naruto exclaimed. Looking down at Naruto, Jiraiya couldn't help but see the boy's parents. He may be an Uchiha, but he definitely didn't get any of the Uchiha characteristics. Except for the Sharingan and, probably, those lashes of his. Now that I think about it, wasn't there an Uchiha with really nice lashes that loved the Shunshin? It's probably nothing. Jiraiya thought. Well, Naruto, guess I'll have to trust you on this. Just promise me one thing, alright? Naruto narrowed his eyes. You're not gonna ask me to help you spy on women, are you? Look, I know the Sharingan is a really useful tool for saving images into your head, but I can't transfer dash. Jiraiya cut his godson off with boisterous laughter. Never even thought of that one, brat. I bet you could transfer all the saved images to me with a genjutsu. Jiraiya laughed out, before taking on a serious expression again. But no. Just promise me you'll learn to use the fox's chakra once you think you're strong enough on your own. Naruto looked pensive at that, then began grinning. I promise. Jiraiya mirrored his grin. That's all I ask, Naruto. Now, how about we get to that training I promised you? Jiraiya asked. If possible, Naruto's grin grew even more. Yeah. Let's go, pervy sage. Naruto announced and began to walk away. Then he turned back to Jiraiya with a confused look. Where are we going? Jiraiya fought back the urge to face palm. We're already here, brat. Jiraiya deadpanned, causing Naruto to grin sheepishly and walk back over to him. Anyways, I'm going to teach you the summoning jutsu. If you get that down quick enough, I'll teach you the speed thing. It's something your father really liked too. Summoning. Naruto echoed. Wait, like that toad you summoned before. Jiraiya nodded. Exactly. Now, watch me carefully. Jiraiya instructed, causing Naruto to activate his Sharingan. Convenient, Jiraiya thought, before biting his thumb and running through hand signs. He slammed his hand on the ground, again, warranting a puff of smoke. When the smoke cleared, a toad with a scroll in its mouth was revealed with Jiraiya now standing on top of it. Cool. Naruto exclaimed, biting his thumb and copying the hand signs Jiraiya just used. However, before he could slam his hand on the ground, Jiraiya stopped him. What gives, pervy sage? Brat. You need to sign a summoning contract first. Jiraiya explained, grabbing the scroll from the toad's mouth and laying it out in front of Naruto. Sign your name on this in blood, then mark it with your handprint. Jiraiya instructed. Naruto looked down at the names already on the scroll, though he could only recognize two of them. Jiraiya, which was obvious, and Minato Namikaze. My dad signed this too? Naruto asked. Jiraiya nodded. Yep. Why else would I give it to some random brat? The toads are one of the three great summoning clans, alongside slugs and snakes, so I don't give it to just anyone. Awesome! Naruto exclaimed, quickly biting his thumb again and signing his name next to his father. Then he stamped his hand on the scroll. There. Now I just copy what you did. Jiraiya rolled the scroll back up and nodded, before giving the scroll back to the toad and dispelling the summon. Yeah, just copy the jutsu I did, like you were about to. Naruto bit his thumb again, the two marks from before already faded, and copied the signs he saw Jiraiya do. He made sure to copy the chakra molding too, and slammed his hand onto the ground. Just like with Jiraiya, a puff of smoke popped up and Naruto found himself standing on top of a toad. Jiraiya raised an eyebrow when he saw which road it was, the same one he'd just summoned. So you summoned Gamma, eh? Guess you copied me move for move with those fancy eyes of yours. Jiraiya remarked. Naruto grinned. Yeah, first try. He exclaimed. Jiraiya shook his head. Just copying won't do you much good, you need to learn to summon specific toads under your own chakra output. Try again, but try to summon a new toad. Jiraiya instructed. Naruto frowned. Alright. How do I dispel this guy? Gamma, you can go. Jiraiya told the toad, who disappeared in another cloud of smoke. Just ask them. They'll eventually return on their own, or if they take enough damage, but asking them will usually work. The toads are a generally passive summoning clan, unlike certain snakes, so you shouldn't need to forcefully return any. Jiraiya explained to Naruto. Oh, cool. So the toads are great. Naruto simplified. Well, what do you want me to summon? Jiraiya tapped his chin. Just keep summoning until I tell you to stop, then we can work on the speed thing. Naruto grinned at the mention of the speed thing. He wasn't sure why, but he really wanted to try that one out. Alright, pervy sage. Jiraiya bonked him on the head. Stop calling me that. He demanded. Naruto just continued to grin. 2 hours later. After around 2 hours, Jiraiya deemed Naruto was good enough to move on. Originally he would have tried to force the boy to use the fox chakra, probably by throwing him off a cliff, but he decided to trust the boy could get strong on his own. Thus far, the boy seemed to be proving himself. Though Jiraiya was only paying so much attention, the rest of his attention was focused on the girls in bikinis in the nearby lake. Alright, that's enough Naruto. Jiraiya called out, turning his full attention to Naruto. We can work on the speed thing now. Really? Really? Show me. Naruto demanded, running up to Jiraiya. Jiraiya took one last look at the girls in the lake, then held up a hand sign. This is called the Shunshin, or body flicker. It's a way to move quickly, faster than the eye can follow, between 2 points. Not many use it fluently in battle, as it's hard to keep up with. Jiraiya said, and he disappeared. Naruto's eyes widened, and his Sharingan spun to life. He looked around and spotted Jiraiya standing, upside down, under a tree branch. Whoa! That was awesome! Naruto exclaimed. So, how'd you do that? Jiraiya jumped down from the tree and walked over to Naruto. Didn't have your cheater eyes active. Jiraiya teased, causing Naruto to pout. I'll show you one more time to let you copy it, then we can work on how effectively you use it. Naruto grinned and watched Jiraiya closely as he held up the sign again. Memorizing the chakra fluctuation, he watched Jiraiya disappear and reappear somewhere else. Unlike last time, he could actually somewhat follow the movement because of the predictive abilities of his Sharingan. Jiraiya raised an eyebrow when he noticed Naruto follow his Shunshin. It wasn't as fast as I could go, but damn. Jiraiya thought, then watched Naruto hold up the sign. Wonder how well he'll be able to do it. Naruto disappeared and reappeared in front of Jiraiya. Whoa! That was awesome! He exclaimed, looking around his new location. You said people don't usually use it in battle? Why don't they? It seems like it'd be very useful, you know. It's hard to react to a quick change in location, for both the user and the opponent, so it's better for surprises or travel. Jiraiya explained. Naruto quirked an eyebrow. Is it? It didn't feel like that for me. Naruto said. Jiraiya's only response was pointing at Naruto's eyes. Huh. You're Sharingan, brat. Ah. Jiraiya sighed. Well, you did well for your first attempt. Jiraiya said, and Naruto beamed at the praise. Though, your father was better and he didn't even have the Sharingan. Naruto's eyes widened. Really? He asked, earning a nod from Jiraiya. That's awesome. Do you think I could learn to Shunshin better than him with my Sharingan? Jiraiya shrugged. Well, your father was a special kind of genius. Most Uchiha, Sharingan, or not, would be unable to keep up with him. Jiraiya said. Naruto's face fell. Oh. Though, there was one Uchiha known for his mastery of the Shunshin. Naruto's face lit back up. Really? Who? He asked. I forgot. Jiraiya told him with a grin. Naruto frowned. Ah. Maybe Sasuke would know? Or Kakashi? Maybe. Jiraiya agreed. You can ask them whenever you see them again, though I'd recommend waiting until after the exams. Why wait until after? Naruto asked. You might end up fighting him in the finals, best not to give any hints about what you've learned. Oh, right. Naruto grinned. I'll be sure to kick his ass. You'll have to kick the Hyuga's ass first. Jiraiya told him. Of course. Now, how about we work on getting that Shunshin to a higher level? Jiraiya suggested. Copying a jutsu doesn't mean you'll be able to use it effectively. Yeah. Naruto agreed, holding up the sign for the Shunshin. Let's do it, you know. 10 days later. Naruto and Jiraiya were training by the lake, with Naruto flickering around to try and land a hit on Jiraiya, who was only defending himself. They decided on having Naruto alternate between using the Shunshin to attack, defend, or a mix of both. Since Jiraiya never learned to use the Shunshin the way Minato did, and he didn't have a Sharingan like Naruto, they decided this was the best way for Naruto to figure out what worked for him. Jiraiya was preparing to switch to a more offensive role when an Umbu showed up. Jiraiya stopped abruptly, catching and holding Naruto's punch to stop him from flickering away. What gives? Naruto asked. Jiraiya motioned to the Umbu approaching them. Sensei wants something. Jiraiya said. The Hokage requests your presence, Naruto Uzumaki. The Umbu monotoned, then disappeared in a Shunshin. Naruto raised an eyebrow at Jiraiya, who just shrugged. Better go see what he wants, find me at the bathhouse in an hour, assuming you're done by then. Jiraiya told Naruto, then disappeared in a toad oil Shunshin. Damn pervy sage. Naruto groaned, and held up a sign to Shunshin towards the Hokage building. His Shunshin, unlike Jiraiya's, had no effect and he simply disappeared. Naruto made it to the Hokage's tower in a series of Shunshin, but stopped before he entered the office. Naruto knocked on the door, receiving an enter from the Sandame's gravelly voice. Naruto entered the office to see the Hokage sitting at his desk, with two familiar lazy-looking forms standing in front of him. Sasuke. Kaka-sensei. Naruto exclaimed, running up to the pair. Yo. Kakashi greeted, book in hand and unmoving. Sasuke turned to the new arrival. Hey, Naruto. Sasuke said, hands in pockets. Naruto stood to Sasuke's left, with Kakashi on Sasuke's right, and gave the Hokage a questioning look. What's this about, Old man. Naruto asked bluntly. Where's Jiraiya? Shouldn't he be with you? Hiruzen asked, then shrugged. I guess he doesn't really need to be here. Pervy Sage said he was going to the bathhouse, probably to be a perv. Naruto groaned. I get that he's strong and all, but why's he such a perv? This, coming from the guy who made the sexy jutsu. Hiruzen joked. Naruto pointed an accusatory finger at the Hokage. Hey. That's the anti-perv jutsu. I made it to fight pervs, like you. He defended. Sasuke coughed. Anyways, he droned, why did you call us here? Ah, right. Hiruzen said. Well, this concerns the Chunin exam finals. As you know, they're approaching in around 20 days. HN. Sasuke grunted, annoyed. That's why we were training, until the Umbu called us here. Yes, I apologize for that. However, there is something somewhat important that concerns Naruto and yourself. Hiruzen told Sasuke. What? Naruto asked. Your name. Hiruzen stated, receiving 2 looks of confusion. Your last name, specifically. My last name. Naruto echoed. Hiruzen nodded. Indeed. I'm aware that people have been referring to you as either Uchiha or Uzumaki Uchiha, but, legally, your name is still Naruto Uzumaki. Hiruzen explained. Huh. He means you haven't had an official name change, idiot. Sasuke told Naruto. That's a thing. Naruto asked. Does that mean you can change your first name too? Yep. Kakashi confirmed, not looking up from his book. Though, that's more difficult than just changing which clan you belong to. So, you called us here to change Naruto's clan to Uchiha? Sasuke asked. Hiruzen nodded. Yes, though he's not currently considered to be in a clan. He has the Uzumaki clan name, but it's not currently an active clan of Konoha. Hiruzen explained. So, I plan to add him to the Uchiha clan. Cool. Naruto exclaimed. But what's this have to do with the Chunin exams? I'm guessing he wants you to be announced as Naruto Uchiha, rather than Naruto Uzumaki, to officially announce the presence of another Uchiha in the village. Sasuke said. Exactly, Sasuke. Hiruzen agreed. Then why did I need to be here? Sasuke asked. Is it because I'm the only other remaining member of the clan that's loyal to the village? Yes and no. Hiruzen started, clasping his hands together. Yes, you're here because you're the only other Uchiha, but also because you're from the head of the family. As such, you'll be required to sign off on his name change, and to help with an issue. Issue. Sasuke echoed. Hiruzen nodded. Yes, an issue. He repeated. As I'm sure you know, your clan is very particular about its members. With your famed bloodline, they prefer any and all members of the clan to only belong to the Uchiha clan. I'm sure you've noticed people hyphenating Naruto's last name dash. Hyphen what? Naruto asked, cutting Hiruzen off. What's that mean, old man? Really, Naruto? Sasuke sighed. Hyphenating means using 2 last names, like how people have been calling you Uzumaki Uchiha. Oh. Anyways, Hiruzen cut back in. Uchiha clan laws don't allow for someone to be part of 2 clans unless the second clan is another major clan, which is uncommon. Though the Uzumaki clan does have important history, it's not seen as an active clan of Konohagakure. So he won't be able to go by Uzumaki Uchiha? Sasuke asked. Hiruzen nodded. At least not now. Once he's older, he may be able to officially reopen the Uzumaki clan in Konoha. For now, though. Hiruzen looked at Naruto. Is this alright with you? So I'll just be Naruto Uchiha. Naruto simplified. Receiving a nod, he just shrugged. I'm fine with that. I've only really met one other Uzumaki, that Karen girl, and only ever heard about my mom. At least this means I'll officially be related to Sasuke. That's not how Sasuke stopped when he caught Naruto's confused look. Never mind. Yeah, though we may need to figure out exactly who your father was related to. How? Naruto asked. Ahem, Hiruzen cleared his throat, bringing the attention back to him. He pulled out a form and set it down in front of Naruto. The two of you will need to sign this. Hiruzen brought out a pen for both of them to use. Naruto filled out his portion, then passed the pen to Sasuke for him to sign. Alright, that should be it. Now I just have to make it official. Thanks, old man. Naruto said with a grin. So, I'll be announced as Naruto Uchiha for the finals. Hiruzen nodded. Yes, and the world will finally have confirmation about the existence of another Uchiha. He smiled. Now, I'm sure you both want to return to your training. Naruto and Sasuke, you're dismissed. Bye, old man. Naruto waved and left. Sasuke bowed slightly and followed Naruto, leaving Hiruzen and Kakashi in the office. Is there a reason you didn't dismiss me, Lord Third? Kakashi asked, folding and putting away his book. Hiruzen nodded. Yes, I wanted to ask you and he was interrupted by a mass of white hair appearing through the window. Jiraiya about Naruto and Sasuke's progress so far. Brat's doing well, sensei. He learned the summoning pretty quickly, and he's learning some interesting usages for the Shunshin, like Minato did. Jiraiya reported with a grin. And the Kuwabai? Hiruzen asked. Jiraiya shook his head. He doesn't want to learn to use it. Says he wants to become strong without assistance, and that he'll learn to use it once he's already strong. Jiraiya explained. Frankly, I agree with him. If he didn't have the Sharingan, I may have forced him to tap into it. However, due to him having it, he may be able to control it with his Sharingan once he's adequately skilled. I see. Hiruzen trailed off. The elders may not be happy with this, but I can see the logic behind letting him. Hiruzen turned to Kakashi. And Sasuke? Kakashi gave the Hokage an eye smile. He's learning to increase his speed and to use his lightning affinity. Kakashi reported. Hiruzen opened his mouth to ask a question, but Kakashi guessed and shook his head. We decided against working on that, since it'd likely be unsafe. Working on what? Jiraiya asked, eyebrow raised. Uchiha thing, don't worry about it. Kakashi said, waving off the question. Jiraiya just shrugged and turned back to his sensei. Is that all? Because I wasn't lying to Naruto about going to the bathhouse. Jiraiya motioned to where Kakashi put his book. Masterpieces like that take research. Yes, you can go. Hiruzen sighed, and Jiraiya left through the window as quickly as he entered. Hiruzen turned to Kakashi. You're dismissed too, Kakashi. Kakashi bowed slightly, all right, Lord Third. He said, and left the room. Hiruzen picked up the form and set it in his done pile, then glanced over at the to-do pile of paperwork and groaned. Did it grow? Outside. Naruto and Sasuke were walking down the street, with Naruto trying to figure out what Sasuke had been training. Come on, Sasuke. Just tell me what dash. You really think I'm dumb enough to reveal that to one of my opponents? Sasuke deadpanned. At least tell me it's not the dash. Naruto looked around, judging how much he could say. I thing. Sasuke sighed. It's not the I thing. I'm not sure why, but I don't feel like that's something I should use casually. He said, and Naruto sighed in relief. Though if it scares you that much, maybe I should. No. Naruto exclaimed. I mean, what you said. It made your eyes bleed, so it's probably not safe, right? It's not like dash. You're jealous. Sasuke finished, smirking. Don't worry, I'm not gonna use it. It's not the most pleasant experience. Well, what are you? Naruto tried to ask, but Kakashi walked up behind them. Hey, Kaka-sensei. Yo. Kakashi said, then looked at Sasuke. Let's head back. I'm sure Naruto needs to get back to Master Jiraiya. Sasuke nodded, but Naruto shook his head. Nah, pervy sage will be at the bathhouse for a while. Naruto groaned. Really? Sasuke asked, eyebrow raised. HN. Naruto grunted, then went wide-eyed as he realized what he did. Ah, fuck. Sasuke was smirking at him again while Kakashi gave him an eye smile. That's the second Sasuke started. Never happened. Naruto cut him off, then held up a hand sign. Before they could say anything more to him, he disappeared in a surprisingly fast Shunshin. Kakashi and Sasuke both raised an eyebrow, then shrugged it off and headed back to the mountains for training. Ichiraku Ramen. Since Jiraiya would still be at the bathhouse for another half hour, at least, Naruto went to get some food. He originally planned on asking Sasuke to come, but quickly threw that idea away after the HN mistake. What'll it be this time, Naruto? Tuki asked. The usual. Miso. Naruto exclaimed. I'll take a. Naruto pulled out his froggy wallet and frowned. He hadn't been on a mission in a while, and he didn't have official access to the Uchiha funds, yet, so he was pretty broke. Usually he'd beg Jiraiya to pay, but he was off being a perv. 2 bowls, please. 2 bowls of miso ramen coming up. Tuki announced, and headed back to the kitchen. Naruto just sat at the booth, waving his legs off the stool and facing outside. He was increasingly bored, since neither Sasuke nor Sakura were here, so he took to watching people walk by through the flaps. He had noticed he was getting significantly less glares than usual, even without Sasuke around, and smiled. As he prepared to turn back around, he noticed a somewhat familiar blonde walking by. She's the lady with the fan, right? Naruto thought, trying to remember her name. She's got a wind affinity, right? Naruto shrugged and hopped of the booth to approach her. Hey. You're the girl from Suna, right? Naruto called out, gaining her attention and causing her to look in his direction. The one with the fan, right? The blonde glanced over, easily placing the blonde. She shrugged and walked over to him to see what he wanted. You're the Uchiha with the wind affinity, right? The one who used the lightning? She asked. Yeah. Naruto grinned at being remembered. My name's Naruto Ozu, I mean Uchiha. Uchiha? She asked. Is that some weird way of hyphenating? Naruto shook his head. Heh, I meant Uchiha. He clarified, scratching the back of his head. Still kind of new, you know. What's your name? She raised an eyebrow, but decided not to ask. My name's Temari. Temari introduced. Is there a reason you called me over? Not really, Naruto said, still grinning. I just recognized you since you're one of the only people I've met with a wind affinity, at least as far as I know. Plus, you're blonde like me. He's one of the 2 kids with the Sharingan, right? Temari thought. That's all? You called me over because we're both blonde with a wind affinity? She asked, suspicious. Yeah, pretty much. Naruto exclaimed, causing her to sweat drop. Plus, I was bored waiting for my ramen. He gestured at the kitchen. Pervy Sage is out being a perv dash. Pervy Sage. Temari echoed. Oh, yeah, Jiraiya-sensei. Now that I think about it, I wouldn't recommend going to the bathhouses around now. If you were planning to, he claims he's researching for his book, but I know he's just being a perv. Okay. Temari said, questioningly, before catching onto the name. Wait, do you mean Jiraiya of the Sunin? He's your sensei. You know him? Naruto asked. Temari shook her head. I know of him. How? The Sunin are famous. Temari deadpanned. Tsunade, Jiraiya, and Orochimaru. Temari noticed Naruto wince a bit at the mention of Orochimaru, but shrugged it off. You know Orochimaru? Naruto asked. Does he know? There's no way, right? Temari thought, shaking her head again. No, I know of him. Oh, yeah. Naruto sheepishly scratched the back of his head. They're really that famous? Naruto asked, receiving a nod in response. Huh, I never heard of them before Orochimaru tried to steal my left eye. Temari's eyes went wide and she asked Orochimaru did what? Tried to steal my left eye. Naruto repeated. During the second exam, me and Sasuke were attacked by the snake bastard. He ripped my left eye out, I had to replace it and keep it covered for the rest of the day. Temari just stared at Naruto in disbelief. What? She asked again. Naruto pointed at his left eye. Snake bastard. Ripped out eye. Had to replace. He simplified. WH dash. Snake bastard. Eye. Heal. Okay. Temari slightly stuttered. Why's everyone find that so hard to believe? Naruto asked. I get the same reaction every time, you know. Maybe because you're claiming to have gotten your eye ripped out, healed, and survived an attack by a Sunin. Temari suggested. Naruto shrugged. It happened. Plus, I'm being trained by a Sunin, so they're obviously not that elusive. Before Temari could respond, Tsuki put the first bowl down behind Naruto. Naruto quickly spun around and dug in. Delicious. Temari shook her head to rid the whiplash from the sudden change. Well. I'm gonna get going now. She drawled. Oh, bye. Naruto said through a mouthful of ramen. I'll see you in the exams. Temari cringed a bit, but waved and walked away. Naruto finished his first bowl in time for his second, which he devoured just as quickly. Checking the time, he noticed Jiraiya would be done around now. He stacked his bowls and put the money on the table. Thank you. He told Tsuki, and headed off to find Jiraiya. Day of the finals. There were about 10 minutes until the finals started, and Naruto was walking around the village when he spotted a suspiciously box-shaped rock in his path. He pretended to not see it, but ducked into the first alley he saw. The box-shaped rock followed him into the alley, but was surprised to find a dead end with no Naruto in sight. Naruto tapped on the back of the rock, causing it to, literally, jump in surprise. It spun around and Naruto noticed 2 eye holes. Come on out, Konohamaru. Naruto monotoned. Konohamaru threw the box off, and posed in a way that reminded Naruto of his pervy sensei. Caught me again, boss. Konohamaru exclaimed. I'd expect no less from my rival. Yeah, Naruto waved him off. Shouldn't you be heading towards the stadium? You're gonna want to get good seats for my fight. Naruto grinned. Uncle Asuma's holding seats for me. Konohamaru said, mirroring Naruto's grin. Shouldn't you be running there? You don't wanna be late, boss. Naruto shrugged. I've still got, 10 minutes? I'll be fine. Konohamaru looked concerned, but figured Naruto knew what he was talking about. How'd you get behind me anyways, boss? I just walked into the alley and you were gone. Ah. Naruto waved his finger. You'll have to watch the exams to find out. You used a jutsu, boss? Konohamaru asked, receiving a nod. Awesome. I'll race